should be played more often. Tulane takes a 144-mile trip east to Mobile, Alabama to visit the South Alabama Jaguars in what should be a very good football matchup tonight. You're watching Sun Belt Conference football on ESPN. Welcome inside the booth, everybody. Pat Greenwood alongside Brian Gennard. Glad you are with us. And because of the proximity, Tulane is bringing their band. They're bringing their cheerleaders, bringing a lot of fans, and they're bringing a pretty good football team as well.
Yeah, they're bringing a really good football team. Had a big win at home last week. This week on the road, not far from home, and that's brought the tailgaters to Hancock Whitney Stadium. Saw a bunch of them on the way in today.
And they are pro tailgaters out of Louisiana for sure.
They're having a big time.
Let's take a look at our impact players, and we'll start with the Tulane quarterback. That's Jake Retzlaff, the transfer from BYU.
Yeah, Retzlaff had a really nice career over at BYU, going 11-2 over there. But since he's been at Tulane last week, he picked up his first win. He had over 150 yards in the air and over 100 yards rushing as well. This young man can beat you with his arm or his leg, so you have to be real careful how you defend him.
Meantime, South Alabama has to run the football tonight. That means got to have a big night from Kentrell Bullock.
Yeah, if you're going to have a big night from somebody, he's the man to do it. If you talk to anybody around college football, they'll tell you Kentrell Bullock is an NFL-style runner, which means he can duck his head and run over you, but he's also got the speed to run around you and run past you as well and leave you in the dust. He had a really great week last week against Morgan State with 2 rushing touchdowns.
And there's a look at head coach John Sumrall in his second season at Tulane. 10-5 overall, but how about that record? 23-4, 2 Sun Belt Conference championships when he was the head coach at Troy in 22 and 23. So a very formidable opponent on the opposite sideline. And there's Major Applewhite, the head coach for South Alabama, also in his second season. 8-6 overall. He spent 3 seasons as the offensive coordinator under Kane Womack prior to becoming the head coach. So Tulane won the toss, elected to defer. So it'll be Patrick Durkin to kick it off. And for South Alabama, not exactly sure they're going to get a chance to return it because Tulane loves to park these things in the end zone. Keenan Phillips is back there, though, just in case. And see, we are ready to tee it up and get this thing underway in Mobile. And as predicted, not even close to being able to be returned. So it'll be South Alabama football at the 25-yard line, and that means Bishop Davenport will come on to get his second start of the season. Very efficient last week against Morgan State. 12 of 14, 166 yards. Great passer rating as well. Highest completion percentage in week 1 for the minimum of 10 attempts. And it was one of those things that South Alabama knew they had the physical advantage over Morgan State. They were going to run the football, and they did.
Yeah, it was the game as it went on. That offensive line started taking over, and that's going to be a key for them tonight. How does that offensive line perform tonight?
Well, running the football against Tulane is a different story, although Bullock gets the first call and gets a first down. How about that blocking along the right side as Kentrell Bullock rips off an 11-yard gain on the first play of the ball game.
What a great job just kind of sealing the end right there. That South Alabama line on the right side, and Kentrell Bullock's in the secondary before you know it.
South Alabama offensively was very vanilla against Morgan State. We didn't see a whole lot of what they want to do. And now, wow, met in the hole and driven back. That was a great hit by Santana Hopper. Met him in the hole and pushed him back. Hopper, the transfer from App State. So he's got some Sun Belt Conference experience. And boy, that was the first big hit of the ball game.
Yeah, just a little delay right there. And as they pull the guard from the other side, Hopper just kind of gets right in his hip pocket, goes to the backfield and makes a big stop for a loss right there for Tulane.
My guess is that the Green Wave is going to make Bishop Davenport beat you. We'll see what he can do with a throw across the near sideline. Great catch made by Devin Foyson right at the sticks. Looks like he may be about a yard shy, but now a very manageable third down as Devin Foyson, a 7th-year senior for South Alabama, gets in the receiving column with the first catch of the day.
Tell you one thing, it was great coverage as well. So Davenport had to put that ball just in a perfect spot where only Voisin could get it. White had great coverage, but great pitch and catch by Davenport and Voisin.
Got to get up to the 46-yard line, 3rd down and 1. Anthony Eager in motion, loading that left side. Bullock looking for a spot. He's got some room, and Bullock, one tackle to break, can't do it, but he gets the first down. Bailey Despaney is the guy that saved the touchdown. Otherwise, Bullock is gone.
Yeah, when you talk about shoestring tackles, you'll see it right here. That truly is exactly what saved Despaney as he reaches out, and Bullock almost hops out of it, but Despaney holds on for dear life. But South Alabama picks up the big first down.
So Bullock gets a rest. Now New Orleans native P.J. Martin in the backfield, sitting alongside Bishop Davenport, and it will be P.J. getting the fake because Davenport takes it himself. He's got a first down across the 30-yard line. So this is the offense we weren't sure exactly what we would see from South Alabama. They knew they weren't going to show any of their cards, but Bishop Davenport, a guy that does not mind running. He doesn't mind throwing either, but he can get you some damage with his legs.
Yeah, that was just a great fake inside. Everybody goes with the fake. Davenport able to get around the end, and you can see the speed right there as he picks up that first down.
Boyson in motion. They'll swing it out to him in the flat, and he is stood up and pushed back. Jake Chinchu, the guy that met Boyson one-on-one. Devin Boyson, number 1. Chinchu, number 1 for Tulane, the free safety out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's a transfer from Troy, so a guy that also has some Sun Belt Conference experience.
Yeah, just a great reaction right there. I mean, that's one of those ones that maybe you come back and at some point do a little pump fake and go.
Davenport takes it himself again. Gets a big hit, spins his way down inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Ball comes loose, but it looks like it was caused by the ground. But that's the second time that Bishop Davenport has pulled it, taken it himself, and run for a first down.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those things that they're going to have to realize that Davenport can run, and you can't just run up and kind of push him. You're going to have to wrap him up. And I think we should have an illegal participation here on Tulane. South Alabama was going tempo. Tulane was running a guy on and off, and they met around the 20-yard line, and that's what the flag's going to be.
Ted Pitts is our head referee tonight. He says, yes, illegal participation against Tulane, which is a big break for South Alabama because Bullock lost his footing right at the line of scrimmage. But instead, it'll be 1st and 5 at the 10-yard line as the Jags knocking on the door, looking awfully impressive in this first drive. Bullock back in the backfield, sitting up alongside Davenport. And there is Kentrell. Takes some heat at the line of scrimmage. He's pushed down for a gain of maybe 1. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of sledding room up there up front that time for Kentrell Bullock.
Well, this is a Tulane defense, by the way, that only gave up 76 yards rushing, period, against Northwestern last week. They've given up 61 yards of total offense right now. Jags facing a 2nd down and 4. There's Davenport calling his own number. The C's part for Bishop Davenport into the end zone untouched. And South Alabama draws first blood. Bishop Davenport looking awfully sharp.
Boy, what a great play call, too, though, because as they shift out of the Kentrell Bullock out of the backfield, that pulls the linebackers out to the side. And then as Davenport drops back, just a little crackback block right here by that offensive line, you'll see it just boom, and it just opened up, as you said. Just, boy, he could have walked right in there. You know, they always, announcers love to say, I could have made that run. But,
but you really could have.
I don't even know if I could have, but I don't have Davenport's speed.
Well, we'll take a break. South Alabama, impressive drive to start things off. They've got a 7-0 lead. Back to Mobile, Tulane football when we get back. there's Major Applewhite on the left side of your screen, the old quarterback, talking with the current quarterbacks. He's got to be happy with what he saw from Bishop Davenport. He went 2 for 2 throwing the football, and then 3 carries, 36 yards, long of 14, and this touchdown, which capped off a 75-yard drive, 9 plays, took 4 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock. Can't do much better if you're Bishop Davenport.
No, you really can't. I mean, he showed a lot right there. That throw that he threw out to Voice, and boy, that was just picture perfect. I mean, that was one of those spots where only your guy can get it to the outside. That was a huge play, and then a couple of nice fakes up the middle to be able to break off some big runs and big first downs, and even that touchdown run right there for South. And
this one will be returned for Tulane up to about the 20-yard line and not much more. Anthony Brown-Stevens was the guy that was able to make the return, but it'll be Tulane starting at their own 20-yard line, and it'll be Jake Ratzloff, the guy that we talked about, Retzloff, I should say. We talked about him from Corona, California. 18 of 31 last week, 152 yards and a touchdown. 348 passing yards last year against Southern Illinois. He was a co-captain last year for BYU. And last week, 69 yards running on 1 play. Rushed for 113 and a touchdown as well. So very, very dangerous guy at quarterback for Tulane. Their first drive be a handoff left side. Good running there by Zuberi Mobley. Mobley gets up to about the 24-yard line. Now, we're not sure if Maurice Turner, who was the starter last week, is going to be able to play today. Limited in practice Wednesday after hurting his ankle on Tuesday. Not sure if he is out, but we do know that Zuberi Mobley likely will get the bulk of the carries. It's a big loss if so, because Turner went 14 carries, 86 yards last week. It'll be Mobley again. Nice moves to get across the 25-yard line. Up to about the 27, so that'll bring up a manageable 3rd down and 3. Tyrell Johnson, R.J. Moss among the guys to make the stop, and Tulane going tempo here on 3rd down.
Moss does a really nice job of just working his way down the line of scrimmage, kind of keeping his lane, so when the cutback happened, Moss is there to make the stop for South Alabama.
Amari Hayes is split to the near side. He was the leading receiver last week against Northwestern, as Tulane's got to get to the 30-yard line, and Retzloff looking to throw for the first time today. Flushed out of the pocket, throws, and it is incomplete. Diving attempt trying to go to Amari Hayes, but he's unable to come up with it, and Tulane will go 3 and out. And talking to John Sumrall, he was, you look at the stats for Retzloff last week, and he said, the stats are pretty good. He wasn't pleased with the passing game at all last week against Northwestern.
Yeah, as you look at that game, and I mean, it was 18 of 31. I think and he also mentioned that he's got a veteran receiving corps that he loves, and there were some drops that he was not crazy about, and that was something that he really wanted to clean up.
Alec Clark, boy, he booms him. Devin Voisin makes the catch back at the 15-yard line, wrestled down at about the 23. And so the defense for South Alabama forces a 3 and out. It's the offense coming back on the field after this. 7-0 South Alabama with the early lead against Tulane. Here's a look at Kentrell Bullock as we're at Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. Jags on top 7-0. Last year, 152 yards, 152 rushes, I should say, 832 yards, 5.5 a carry. Played a lot with and behind Fluff Bothwell, who's now one of the big running backs at Mississippi State, and wasn't sure exactly if he'd come back. They were able to say to Kentrell Bullock, come back and you're going to be the guy. And he did a pretty good job on that first series, 4 carries for 23 yards. He'll take a seat right here as South Alabama starts the second drive of the ball game. But John Sumrall said when Kentrell was coming out of Ole Miss and he was at Troy, Sumrall, he tried to get Kentrell Bullock to come to Troy.
Yeah, it's one of the first things he mentioned in the call is that he really loves this young man, loves the way he runs the ball, and would love to have him on his squad as well.
Empty backfield for Bishop Davenport. Now a little pitch pass going the other way. There's Anthony Eager. He's got some speed, loses the football. Tulane has it, I believe. That ball hit the turf at about the 25-yard line, and the first big play of the ball game that could be a momentum swinger. And there it is, as Santana Hopper was the guy that hopped on the loose football. It was Anthony Eager looking for something to get around that corner, couldn't do it. And boy, that's a big, big momentum swing.
Yeah, Sam Howard, the middle linebacker, is the one that comes in, and he just reaches out and grabs Eager's arm as he comes by, and when he does, and you see the Mardi Gras beads going on Norman's neck, that's their version of the turnover chain, and it's fitting that it's Mardi Gras beads as well, right? So, but Sam Howard really caused that play for Tulane.
And Tulane had 4 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery last week against Northwestern. They pick it up where they left off as they've got a short field at the South Alabama 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Mobley gets the play fake and across the middle and separated. Ty Goodwill was the guy that made the hit on Shackelford. But boy, did Ty Goodwill, who had a great game against Morgan State, boy, did he lay the lumber right there.
Yeah, he really did. His shoulder's hurting him a little bit on this hit. He's going to come out, but boy, you see it right there. Does a great job of not leading with his helmet, leading with his shoulder, and putting that shoulder right on the ball as he comes off, and they're taking a look at him. Ty Goodwill, a Mobile product right up the street at Faith Academy. Like you said, big game last week for Ty Goodwill.
Duda Barnes into the lineup. His first carry goes nowhere. Blaine Myrick, the Sunbelt Conference preseason Defensive Player of the Year. He makes the stop, and it's 3rd down and 10.
Another Mobile kid. I say Mobile. He's across the bay in Baldwin County. He's Mobile. Grew up here at Fairhope High School, and boy, he played well last week, and you can see Blaine Myrick just stepping up and making a huge play right there for South Alabama. Some late substitutions here as Major Applewhite's going to step over and get a timeout.
Yeah, the defense was confused. I think that's a smart timeout by South Alabama. Want to make sure, as Tulane showed a 5-wide set, and they got 10 yards to go. And as we saw last week against Northwestern, 3rd and 10, that really doesn't bother the Tulane Green Wave. They can move the ball at will. We'll see what they do on 3rd down when we get back to Mobile. 8:27 to go in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Jags. There's a look at John Sumrall, the head coach at Tulane. And last week, there was a jersey controversy as they played Northwestern. And the Tulane Green Wave wore the green helmets today. This is his quote: for the 20th anniversary of Katrina. I'm going to say one thing. We requested to wear white jerseys because that's what that team wore. It got denied by the other team. That's their prerogative. But when you show disrespect to the city of New Orleans, that's not good. He wanted to wear the same uniform that the team 20 years ago during Katrina wore. They are wearing the whites. And he says, don't disrespect New Orleans ever. Many say that he could run for mayor right now of New Orleans and win in a landslide. We'll see what they can do on third down. They've got to get to the 15-yard line. Retzloff, good protection all day to throw. Looking for a receiver. We know he can run. He does. Takes off, got to get to the 15. He does, and loses the football. South Alabama has it. They're going the other way. That's Javon Henderson, who's able to come up with a loose football. South Alabama turned it over to Tulane, and Tulane turns it right back.
What a crazy series of events. It looked like he had a clear path. I'll tell you one thing, though, Jack Holyfield doesn't give up on this play for Tulane. I mean, it was a great recovery by South. It looked like all of a sudden they were going to be up the sideline, and the center, Jack Holyfield, comes over and makes a big stop. But you see right here, all the time in the world, and then the seas part, looking to see if he just...
Mike Harris was the guy that laid the lumber, and Henderson was right there to return it the other way. So South Alabama dodges a bullet, and you're right, that's a great tackle along the sideline. And the Jags will have it 1st and 10 at their own 23-yard line. Handoff left side. Little bit of sledding before he's pushed back by Dixon Agu. Makes a stop after a 2-yard gain, brings 2nd down and 8 for the Jags. They tried to get fancy on the last time they had the football and didn't go too well. They put the ball on the turf. Going quickly once again. A lot of room to run for Bullock. He gets to the 35-yard line, 1st down, South Alabama.
That was just a nice job and a nice cut back over to the left-hand side as Bullock just saw some daylight. He wants a little bit of a breather. You know, we saw that play last week that South ran with the Eagles, that 2 big gains on that kind of flip pass forward. And like you said, last series just didn't work out for him on the fumble.
Davenport going deep, left side, good adjustment, good catch. Devin Voisin, he's got room. 10, 5, touchdown, South Alabama. "65 yards. Davenport to Voisin. And the Jags on top, 13-0, extra point pending.
There's your veteran experience right there. And Voisin did a great job of adjusting to this ball. He's got one-on-one coverage on the outside, and Voisin just does a nice job of waiting to the last minute, kind of adjusting his route, coming back to that ball, and then he shows you that burst of speed to get in the end zone. What a play for South Alabama.
DeBoyan on for his 2nd extra point. And boy, who do you call that on? On
Everybody.
The entire offensive line?
Everybody was lined up on the left-hand side.
My goodness, everybody jumped on that extra point attempt.
Well, they jumped for a good reason because Tulane was coming at them. So everybody on the defensive side of the ball. How about that?
So they move it about a yard closer, but they'll still keep Hamilton DeBoyan on to kick the extra point, as you hear from Ted Pitts, the head referee. Now, DeBoyan's wearing 92 today. We found that out, about 10 minutes before kickoff. He's 94, so what you would assume it's some sort of special teams reason that he's wearing a different jersey. But he puts that one through, and it's 14-0 South Alabama. But let's talk about Devin Voisin, 7th-year senior, a guy who has battled injury, has had all sorts of issues trying to get consistent playing time. And then last week, he did not score last year at all. Last week, had a punt return for what appeared to be a touchdown, but he was called out of bounds at the 4-yard line, and then later in the ball game, they were able to get him into the end zone. But how about the adjustment that he made and then the speed to get into the end zone?
Yeah, I love what he did right there. And that, like I said, that's a veteran move. When you talk about a young man that's been around a program as long as he has, and he's earned his time, like you said, between the injuries and everything else that he's been battling, to be able to come in. And boy, that return he had last week was dynamic. He ran from one side of the field all the way across the other. unfortunately, replay was seeing if he had stepped out on the 4. They couldn't see if the ball had passed the cone, and as you kind of look at it, unfortunately, that had to come back for him. But then to adjust the way he did on that throw right there, and then be able to cut it back to the middle and hit that burst of speed to score for South Alabama, that's big for that young man.
Anthony Brown-Stevens returned the last one. He'll field this one at the 5-yard line. And he's got some room along the sideline. Brown-Stevens finally pushed out of bounds up near midfield. Anthony Brown-Stevens. Well, that's what you want to do if you're the return guy. And he puts Tulane in pretty good field position.
Yeah, I would almost categorize that into great field position. When you get out past the 40, you're doing pretty well. And great blocking there by Tulane as well. And South Alabama just kind of lucky to force him out of bounds there at the last second. It looked like he had one man to beat, and South did a good job of getting him out at the 45.
Still no sign of Maurice Turner. We haven't been told officially that he's out, but there's a look at Duda Barnes in the backfield for Tulane. They're 55 yards away from the end zone. They'll play fake it to him. Retzloff under pressure, throwing right side, wide open. Across the 40 to the 35-yard line. That's Bryce Bohannon, who got behind the defense. That's a big chunk play for Tulane.
Boy, it really was. They ran 2 guys deep, and everybody turns to run with them. And I don't know if they had man-on-man with the linebackers, but just able to get outside and out past them.
They'll go wide side again into the flat. And that's a nice pickup across the 30-yard line down to the 28-yard line as we take another look at that catch by Bohannon. And again, when you're Retzloff looking for somebody to throw to, you want somebody this wide open, and that's exactly what he saw there.
Yeah, he's just really kind of looking everybody downfield, about the third option, and patient, and he had enough time to let that route come open.
He'll throw again, and this one is dropped along the sideline. That was a bullet going to the right side.
And I think that's what Coach was talking about, the things that he wanted to clean up from week 1 to week 2 or some of the drops. And I mean, that would have been a little bit of a, not your easiest catch, but it's one of those ones that you really want a guy to come up with right there as that quarterback put it on. But you get to see with Retzloff, did you see, I mean, the play before, he went completely sidearm to get that last one out. So he can do it in a lot of ways.
Got to get to the 25-yard line. Retzloff gets that and more. One man to beat. He doesn't do it, but Retzloff goes down to the 12-yard line, and that's a big pickup on 3rd down for Tulane.
Boy, that was almost kind of old student body left, wasn't it? I mean, they just line up and send everybody blocking to the left-hand side. Barnes, the first one through the hole to kind of give him the lead block, and then here comes Retzloff.
That was the first conversion on 3rd down for Tulane. They've got it at the 12-yard line. Once again, a designed quarterback run, this time trying to pop to the outside. Pushed out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Brian Dillard was the guy that pushed him.
I don't know if that was a push, Pat. That was a pretty...
That wasn't a love tap?
No, that was a pretty good hit right here as he comes around the corner and just, you know, make sure, just helping him out. Just making sure he didn't get too far up.
Retzloff, a tough guy. Doesn't mind throwing it, doesn't mind running it, and that's very dangerous if you're Will Windham and the defensive coordinator for South Alabama. So Barnes in the backfield on 2nd down and about 5. Retzloff sends Pascuzzi in motion. He'll pitch it to Barnes, and Barnes leaves his feet, gets to about the 5-yard line. Now to bring up a 3rd down and about 3.
It'll be interesting to see what they call right here this time. 3rd, like you said, 3rd and 3. We saw last week against Northwestern, they ran a couple of routes where they kind of ran somebody shallow in the end zone and then ran a couple of guys deep right around the end line. Retzloff was able to kind of free himself up, scramble a little bit, and throw the ball into the end zone. But South, a little bit of confusion here as the guy runs off late. We'll see what Tulane dials up.
That is Mobley in the backfield. Got to get to the 2, and there's a timeout by Jake Retzloff and Tulane. So we'll keep it here as John Sumrall and the Tulane Green Wave will talk about it. Tulane now on 3rd down, 1 for 3. But do you, if you're going to take it a step further, if you don't make it here, Is this a field goal situation or is this a go for it situation, assuming you don't lose a big chunk?
Yeah, assuming you don't lose a big chunk, I'm rolling the dice and going. I mean, it's early. You still got a lot of time, but you pin them down inside the 5 if you don't make it. Flip side of that is South Alabama, with the exception of that one fumble, boy, that offense has looked really good so far, and picking up some good chunk plays. But if I'm Summerall, I'm looking at this as 2 down territory.
But he also knows how deep his team is.
Yeah.
Probably deeper than South Alabama. So is it one of those, let's weather the storm here and try to come back later? We'll find out. May not have to make that choice. They've got heavy lifting to the right side with Mobley in the backfield. Now they'll even it out. Blockers everywhere. And it will be a pass to the left side and into the end zone. Touchdown, Johnny Pascuzzi. Little play fake to lull the defense to sleep just a bit, and Pascuzzi, the Iowa transfer, puts Tulane on the board, 14-6 with the extra point coming.
Yeah, you said to lull the defensive sleep. It lulled the color commentary sleep as well, because I was looking straight up the middle, and all of a sudden I look up and Retzloff is firing that ball out. They got one-on-one coverage on the outside, and Pascuzzi does a really nice job of just making sure he gets to the pylon.
Nehemiah Chandler was the guy in coverage, but that's tough to cover Pascuzzi one-on-one. And now Patrick Durkin on to kick the extra point. He is perfect. How about Durkin, the American Conference Special Teams Player of the Week last week? Went 2 for 2 on PATs, 3 for 3 on field goals. Had a 41-yard field goal, puts that one through, and it's 14-7. So you got to like the way that Tulane has responded on the road here.
Yeah, they really have. After going down 14 quick, I mean, nice drive. And it all started off with that big kick return. I mean, when you can start your possession at the 45, boy, it makes life a whole different measure than starting it like they did their first one on the 15. So that kick return was huge for them to kind of get some playing field out in front of them. I mean, and not be in the shadows of their own goalpost.
And how about that company that John Sumrall keeps? Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, Dabo, Lincoln Riley. You come to the winning percentage as a head coach. Obviously, uber successful at Troy. And then it's a question of where he was going to go. He used to coach at Tulane, and so it was kind of a natural fit for him to go back to New Orleans. And now the big question for Tulane fans is how long can you keep a guy like John Sumrall? But I'll tell you, he likes it in New Orleans, likes the team that he's got. So who knows?
With his statement on the jersey, you can tell he's adapted the city, and the city's adopted him.
Well, Keenan Phillips back deep, but didn't bother looking up as that one is drilled through the back of the end zone by Durkin. And South Alabama will come back out for their 4th offensive possession.
Yeah, one of the new rules in college football this year, all you have to do is just throw your arms out into a T, and that symbols that, hey, I'm not even messing with this thing. We'll take it on the 25.
Looks like that's P.J. Martin in the backfield for South Alabama. New Orleans native, went to De La Salle High School. In fact, his cousin is the free safety Kevin Adams III for Tulane. Those two have yet to tangle so far, but there's plenty of time. There's Eager in motion. And it'll be Davenport rolling to his right. Under pressure, good idea for Bishop Davenport. That one was well covered. Looking for Anthony Eager, but there was all sorts of fantastic coverage downfield. Sam Howard was the guy that was blanketing Anthony Eager.
And Javian White also in there on that play for the Tulane Green Wave. And I'm with you. I like that. I love the fact that he doesn't try to make a big play on his own 25. He throws that one away to live another day.
They'll go quickly, and that one was almost jumped by the defensive back, Isaiah Shine. Boy, he had those big eyeballs because he saw, wait a second, if I can get another half step, I'm going to be able to take it to the house. Instead, it falls harmlessly to the turf, but the Jags now facing a 3rd and 10.
And I can't tell you the way that they're jumping some of these routes, and that's the play before where you see the nice play by Davenport throwing that one to the ground. But the way a couple of these routes have been jumped, I just think it's a matter of time before South runs a little pump fake and go.
Davenport, a little slant to Voisin, makes the catch at about the 30, maybe the 31, but still about 3 or 4 yards shy of the first down. And so South Alabama will go 3 and out for the first time today, and first time we'll see Alexi Polkinen.
Yeah, Voisin does just a nice job of hanging on to that ball right there, because like you said, he was blanketed. Javian White on the tackle for Tulane, but just a nice hit by White and a great job by Voisin to hold on to that ball.
Amari Hayes is back at about his own 30-yard line as Polkinen shanks it. Boy, not his best effort, because Alexi is a very good punter, but that certainly not indicative of what he is capable of doing. And the referees will walk all the way to the South Alabama 42-yard line. My goodness.
Yeah, that's gonna be about a 7-yard punt in the books right there.
The line of scrimmage will officially be the 42-yard line. Boy, that's not what we see typically from Polkinen, one of the better kickers in the Sun Belt Conference, but just a little mishit here, and now another opportunity for Tulane's offense to try and even this thing up. Now, Javen Gordon is the third running back we've seen for Tulane. He'll sit alongside Retzlaff. Has another short field to work with. That's one thing that we knew coming in. South Alabama can't afford to give Tulane golden opportunities, and so far they've done it a couple of times. Anthony Brown-Stevens in motion. They will hand it off, and a gaping hole off the right side is Javen Gordon's first carry. Nets a first down to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it was Jack Holyfield, the center, that reached out and had that block that opened that hole right there on the left side, or I'm sorry, the right side.
Now they go tempo. Oliver Mitchell Jr. catches the ball in the flat. Modest gain, but gets him inside the 30-yard line, down to about the 27.
Yeah, Retzlaff runs and gets the ball because the receiver just dropped it as he went back, and he's trying to get the official to spot it as quick as possible so they can get this offense going.
21-yard line will give him a first down, going for the end zone, and a good defensive play by Christopher Wallace Jr., who was in coverage. Thought for a minute that the receiver came down with it, but Wallace was able to knock it loose, and that'll bring up a third down.
Yeah, I really think Wallace did a nice job of getting his hands up between the receiver's arms and maybe forcing this ball out.
There's a look at the play before. That netted a 4-yard gain, so we're looking at third down and 6 here, and an empty backfield until now, as Javen Gordon will come back for some protection purposes and maybe go out to the flat as well. Terrible snap, but Gordon able to handle it, gets to about the 20-yard line. That's going to be right at the sticks. But boy, that could have been a problem. Great heads-up play by Gordon, and that does indeed move the sticks for a first down for Tulane.
Yeah, not really sure if that was supposed to be a direct snap to him, but it kind of split the difference and rolled. And just like you said, like a really heads-up play to scoop that ball up. The hole's there, and Tulane's going to find themselves with a first down.
Just outside the red zone. Green Wave trying to even things up. Retzlaff goes across the middle. Oh, what a catch across the middle. Ty Goodwill in coverage, but that was Justin Reed with the big hands. Justin, 6'5", 255 pounds. That wasn't an easy catch, but threaded the needle, did Retzlaff.
Well, he almost looked like somebody in basketball, just kind of using that body to shield Goodwill as he's coming in. He does a really nice job of concentration right there and holding on to that ball.
They'll hand it off to Gordon, right side. Doesn't have much to work with. Ed Smith, the guy that meets him in the hole, does get about maybe a yard. Bring up a third and a long 4. Maybe call it officially 3rd and 5 as Gordon will take a seat. Back comes Zuberi Mobley on 3rd down and 5. And after being unsuccessful on 3rd down, first part of the ball game, now Tulane's 3 of their last 3 in 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, Mike Harris isn't going to get credit for that tackle right there, but he did a great job of blowing that play up in the backfield, and that's really what allowed South Alabama's pursuit to get there and bring up this 3rd down.
Play clock at 2. And they got the snap away. Keeping it on the ground, and that's a good move because Zuberi Mobley will rumble into the end zone, and we're an extra point away from being tied.
Boy, what a hole on that right side of that offensive line. They did a nice job of blocking it down and then sealing off the end, and it just creates a huge lane. Tulane's in the end zone practically untouched.
So it's 3rd and 5, and the decision to go on the ground is maybe indicative of, hey, if you don't make it, we're going to go for it on 4th down. Didn't have to make that choice. And now here comes Durkin in for the extra point, trying to tie this thing up. So it was South Alabama, as Durkin is right through the uprights. It was South Alabama seizing the momentum early. Had a couple of turnovers each way, but then the Jags jump out 14. Credit to Tulane, is on the road. They didn't flinch.
They didn't flinch. The biggest thing, though, Pat, and you said it right before that drive, field position. I mean, you start the drive, the first scoring drive from the 45, and the second one you start from South Alabama's 42, and that's really the difference. I mean, credit. Now they put those 2 drives together, but South Alabama can't afford to let them start between those 40s and give Tulane any kind of advantage here if they want to, stay in this game, because it was all South Alabama at 14-0, and Tulane has answered back in a big way.
It was a 7-play, 42-yard drive. So they've had drives of 19 yards where they turned it over, a 55-yard drive for a touchdown, a 42-yard drive for a touchdown. Those short fields make a difference. And Durkin ready to tee it up. Keenan Phillips back at the goal line. So we're nearing the end of the first quarter, and boy, it's been an entertaining quarter as that one goes through the end zone. And now South Alabama will have a chance
through the uprights before it's all over with. Well, he's getting closer.
And talking to Coach Sumrall, when you talk about Durkin, he says, look, you haven't seen Cooper Helmke yet.
Yeah,
that's the other kicker. He said Helmke may put it 2 or 3 rows deep.
And didn't he tell us he made like a 65-yarder in practice the other day or something crazy like that?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So let's see if the Jags can respond. 3 and out their last offensive series. It'll be Kentrell Bullock back in the lineup. It's Eagers slipped to the far side. And the tight end Trent Thomas will come to the near side. It'll be Bishop calling his own number. Gets about a yard. It's 2nd down and 9, and you would figure that would be the last play of the quarter, as South Alabama will try to regroup. The Jags jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Tulane has come roaring back on the road, and we have officially played 1 quarter in Mobile. It's been a good one. Major Applewhite says we'll go to the 2nd quarter. We're tied 14-14. Back to Hancock Whitney Stadium on the campus of South Alabama after this on ESPN+.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Whitney Stadium as the sun sets behind the Jaguar Training Center, and there has been no shortage of highlights between these two. Bishop Davenport had a 9-yard run to start things off and give South Alabama a run, or a touchdown, I should say. Then he threw one to Devin Boyson, and then Tulane has come back, a pass to Pascuzzi, and then Mobley with a touchdown. Each team has one turnover today. As you see, both teams average about the same in terms of turnovers compared to last year, but the two teams today, one fumble recovery. But starting field position has been the stat so far. The Jags have started from their own 24-yard line. The average for Tulane, they started at the 50. They'll swing it outside and breaking a tackle, but the cavalry comes as Kentrell Bullock, after he broke that one tackle, had his momentum going backwards, and that allowed Tulane to swarm to the football. And that'll be a loss of about 2, bring up 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, as you watch Davenport right there, he went through all his progressions, and Bullock was kind of his bailout at the last minute. And you thought for a second he was going to get away, and boy, he did. But like you said, here comes the cavalry, and Tulane does a great job of swarming to the ball to make sure he didn't get past the 25.
Chris Rogers was the guy that made the initial contact. Now 3rd down at about 11. A lot of room for Davenport. Needs to get to the 35. Flags fly as he is down right at about the 35-yard line. Should be a 1st down if the play stands. There were flags flying in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, it's good.
Defense, number 3. That 15-yard penalty to the end of the run, automatic 1st down.
So Javion White is the guy that got the face mask, so add 15 on top of it.
Yeah, it looked like the receiver for South Alabama was about to break out of his route right there, and when he did, he reaches up and grabs the face mask. I don't think it's going to be in picture, but that's a play before right there as Bullock almost breaks out of that one. But Davenport with a really nice job looking downfield, knowing it's man-to-man coverage. That pulls everybody out, and that gives Davenport that lane to run in.
Tulane stacking the box. Jags will run anyway as Bullock pushed forward into Tulane territory at about the 46-yard line. Santana Hopper, we've called his name a couple of times today. He's the guy that made the stop. But for Bullock, he's close to 40 yards rushing so far. And South Alabama on the ground nearing 90 against a team that only gave up 76 to Northwestern last week. Eager in motion. It'll be Bullock again, looking for some running room across the 45 to about the 44-yard line. That'll leave him 4 yards shy. That'll bring up a 3rd down. Bailey Despaney, native of Lafayette, Louisiana, Karen Crow High School. He made the stop. There's Major Applewhite. Now you start talking for South Alabama. Is this 4-down territory? Because you're in Tulane territory. Kind of depends on what happens here on this 3rd down. It'll be on the ground and not close to it, as Bullock is stood up and pushed back. That'll bring up a 4th down and about 3.
My gut says no, just for the last 2 drives and the momentum that Tulane has on offense right now.
My gut says yes because of the momentum Tulane has on offense.
I'd rather them have it all the way down on the 5 or 10 than out here. See if it's a hard count and see what South does.
Got to get to the 40-yard line. 4th down. Here comes Davenport throwing across the middle. Incomplete. Trying to go to Anthony Eager. Broken up. And Tulane will take over on downs. Despaney, the guy in coverage. And Bishop Davenport unable to connect. And here comes Tulane with another good field position. But if you look at the stats, talked about the fact that Tulane has started from the average of about the 50-yard line. They're only at the 43 now. +7.
Yeah, your last couple of possessions, I mean, they had the one after the kickoff that started at the 45, the next one over at the 42, almost the exact same spot, maybe a yard out from where they got it after the bad punt in the 1st quarter.
Javen Gordon in the backfield for Tulane. Again, Maurice Turner, the guy that ran most of the plays against Northwestern last week, not in the lineup so far and likely out today. As Tulane will get close to midfield. There's Darius McKenzie, one of the guys on the stop. Give him a gain of about 4, 2nd down and 6.
And Tulane starting to play with a little bit of pace. We saw that in the last 2 drives, and quicker to get up to that line of scrimmage.
No push to him as he goes behind his intended receiver, Amari Haynes. Javon Henderson was in coverage, but Haynes 9 catches, 74 yards last week. He was the target. But now the big challenge here for South Alabama. The last 4 third downs, they have been unable to stop Tulane. Let's see if they can do it here.
Yeah, and most of those have been on the ground. So see if Tulane takes it back to the ground. We've seen Retzloff run the ball a couple of times and pick up first downs, and also his backfield as well.
But he has nobody in the backfield, so he may call his own number, but he's got 5 receivers to pick from. Retzloff, the play clock winding down, gets it in time, will swing it out into the flat, and not going to get there. Across the 50 to the 49-yard line as he was stopped short. Good stop by Parker Shattuck, third-string linebacker. Now, is it 4th down and go for Tulane?
I think it is, and Shattuck does a really nice job of just kind of getting underneath the block right here and stopping that as it's coming back to the middle and making a short tackle.
Substitutions on both sides, and it does look like Tulane will go for it.
They brought in the big bodies right here.
Last year, Tulane was 46% going for it on 4th down. They'll call Retzloff, and he has the first down. Retzloff across the 40 to the 39-yard line. It was Wesley Miller finally making the stop, but when you've got a quarterback that is so deadly with his legs and so deadly with his arm as well, a lot of options if you're Tulane offensively.
Yeah, you see all the big bodies they put over there on the left-hand side, and Retzloff just gets behind them and does a really nice job of following his blockers, along with Mobley that kind of led through the hole there and picking up that first down for Tulane.
Tulane last week against Northwestern, a lot of long sustained drives. Not so tonight, but they've already put 14 points on the board. Trying to add to it here. Flushed out of the pocket, Shattuck breaks a tackle, has some positive yards, gets out of bounds just beyond the 35-yard line. As Caleb Dozier was the guy that was able to push him out, but another solid game for Tulane offensively.
South gets a nice rush right here. It's kind of a slow developing play as you're looking downfield, and for a second it looked like they were going to have him in the backfield, but that 6'1", 205 pounds does a nice job of just kind of sloughing off the defense and making sure that he picked up about 8-9 yards on that play.
There's a reason he was the starting quarterback at BYU. He's done a good job for the Tulane Green Wave. First down and more. Hit hard by Ty Goodwill. But it's another first down for Tulane, pending the flag, though. There's a flag at the 30.
Right there at the 30-yard line.
Holding, 58, offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
So we're going to get Jack Holyfield, the center. He's a transfer from App State. He was the one caught holding, and that'll negate the first down. Let's take a look at Holyfield right there in the middle. Let's see if it happened.
Got it. I'm just going to let them change out.
Yep, right there. Yep, as he was trying to get into the hole, the blocking was fine up until that last split second.
Yeah, that hand came off the shoulder, went down in that middle of that body and kind of got that jersey, and then the back judge can, or the judge can, the umpire can see that as that body turns and that hand's pulling that jersey a little bit away from the body, and that's what got Holyfield on that call.
So 2nd down and 10. It'll be Mobley. Mobley gets 5. Bring up a manageable 3rd and 5. As Wesley Miller, one of the ones on the stop. But another 3rd down where Tulane now 4 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. They were stopped last time on 3rd down, but then they were successful on the 4th down conversion. And now this is that long sustained drive that we saw against Northwestern, as Tulane's had the ball for a long time here in this 2nd quarter. There's a look at Dalton Hughes wearing the number 10 today. 3rd down and 6. They'll keep it on the ground. And another first down and more. Mobley had one man to beat. Couldn't do it, but he gets it to the 24-yard line. And another 3rd down conversion for the Green Wave, and this long drive continues.
just a nice job by the left side of this offensive line as they create the hole. And once Mobley comes through, he sees the cutback lane, gets right through there. But boy, Miller with the saving tackle for South Alabama.
But it's 1st and 10 as Anthony Miller goes in motion far side. Now back to the near. An easy pitch and catch to him. There's Miller inside the 10. Another first down for Tulane. That's 8 first downs now for the Tulane Green Wave. They've got it inside the 10, so they got a 1st and goal.
Boy, there was nobody on that side of the field. I'm surprised South was able to get to him as quick as they did, because from our vantage point up there, boy, you couldn't see any blue jerseys anywhere around. And South does a nice job of peeling back and at least forcing him out of bounds right at the 10-yard line.
Tulane started this drive at the 12:20 mark in the 2nd quarter. Now they're trying to finish it off on the ground, left side. Javen Gordon diving for the pylon. He's short, but almost got into the end zone. How impressive has Tulane been? After falling down 14-0, it's been all Green Wave since.
But, you know, that's kind of a product of their coach. I mean, if you look at Summerall and you talk to him, it's just such a calming kind of, and even down 14-0, really nothing changed. As you see, boy, he reaches out, that elbow goes down right at the goal line, but ball comes out as well.
Retzloff untouched. Touchdown Tulane. They have the lead for the first time today. He had Duda Barnes to his left side, and then Retzloff just said, I'll take it myself. And too many bodies to get to, and South Alabama now finds itself trailing for the first time today.
And you see that push by that big offensive line. And Mobley again. Mobley's done a great job of leading him into the hole, and a couple times picked up some blocks for him, and Retzloff just able to step into the end zone. But again, going back, they just down 14-0, and nothing really changed. I mean, they just, no panic, no, just playing their game, doing their thing, and 21 unanswered, or 20 so far. Trying for 21 here.
Well, so far, Durkin's been automatic on the season.
He may hit the car back there.
If you jinxed him, but you didn't, as it does go right down the middle. And Tulane with an impressive drive. Retzloff finishes it off. And we've got 6 minutes, 52 seconds to go in the half. It's Tulane on top, 21-14. was another short drive by the Tulane Green Wave, but very effective. 11 plays, 57 yards. Took 5 minutes, 28 seconds off the clock, and it was Retzloff bumping into the end zone for Tulane. And the Green Wave now on top, 21-7. Retzloff, 7 of 12 for 60 yards throwing the football. And then running 6 carries, 58 yards and a touchdown. So picking up where he left off last week after a successful day against Northwestern. And now we do get to see the aforementioned Cooper Helmke, who will boot it. Oh, he's not as advertised, or at least not. That's not what Coach said he could do. Coach said he could put it 3 rows deep. Instead, they were going to try to make South Alabama return it. They don't. They'll get the fair catch. And Keenan Phillips will dash to the sidelines, and we'll be back after this. South Alabama football when we come back. Well, back to Mobile, Alabama. South Alabama now trailing 21-14. Touchdown, fumble, touchdown, punt, and a turnover on downs. That's how they've gone offensively. But the guy that stood out offensively so far for South has been Devin Boyson. 4 catches, 82 yards, and this touchdown that covered 65 yards. And when he was getting open, South Alabama offense was rolling. 20.5 yards a catch. 1 touchdown for Devin, but South Alabama's got to find some rhythm offensively. They had it early, but then Tulane's defense, which is one of the better defenses in the country, has really made adjustments.
Yeah, they really have, and you saw Boyson able to get open early, that big catch on that 3rd down, and then the big touchdown catch, and then Davenport able to kind of beat you with his legs a couple of times. But since then, Tulane has really been able to shut down South Alabama on offense.
Keenan Phillips, his first carry of the day, gets maybe a long 1 or short 2. Call it 2nd down and 8 as he gets to about the 27-yard line. But Tulane, you would assume the defensive game plan is stack the box, make Bishop Davenport throw it downfield. We haven't seen a lot of downfield passes since those first early drives. It'll be Davenport working out of the shotgun. They will keep it on the ground, and again, tough sledding. Just not a lot of room as Keenan Phillips was met by the big guys.
Yeah, and if you watch that frame right there, right towards not even the tackle, but at one point you could see 8 Tulane Green Wave players in the frame right there, all going after the runner, and that's something that they're going to have to start doing some play fakes, doing some things to get some guys open, or let Davenport get out in space and use his legs. here for South Alabama.
You saw big Armandus Cooley. He's 305 pounds. They do let Bishop throw by the sidelines. Catch is made, but he's going to be shy of the first down. As Miller McCrumbie, the tight end, was the guy that hauled it in, but he's about 2 yards shy. Bring up a fourth down, and that deep into Tulane territory. I don't think it's a go situation for South Alabama.
No, and that's one of those things that'll drive you crazy as well. As I get your quarterback scrambling, you're trying to come back to him, but you want to run that route about 3 yards deep or so. If you do have to come back, you're at least right there on the line. So if he does make that play to you, you're able to get the first down.
Pulkinen, much better effort this time. Drives Amari Haynes back, and he's going to go no further than that. Good special teams coverage by South Alabama. Christopher Wallace Jr., the guy that made the stop, and for the first time in a while, it'll be Tulane with a long field to drive, but they do have the football. 5 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the half. Green Wave on top by 7. Who make posters right here. How about that shot? There's the Molten Tower right in the center of South Alabama's campus. Beautiful full moon out there. Beautiful weather. It's finally cooled down a bit. It was very hot this afternoon. Very little wind. But it's Tulane who fell behind 14-0. They've scored now 3 unanswered touchdowns. They've got a 21-14 lead, and they've got the football. New quarterback. How about Brendan Sullivan? First time he's played all year, and his first pass is complete. Big catch to Zy Carl Lewis. Sullivan is a transfer from Ole Miss. In fact, the entire quarterback room for Tulane is made up of transfers. But there's Brendan Sullivan last season, 38 of 53, 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. And Sullivan, we knew he would play at some point. He was in a Wildcat situation against Northwestern, but now gets the quarterbacking duties here in the second quarter. As boy, how about Duda Barnes laying the lumber? He gets a tough 8-yard carry.
Well, you can hear his sideline get fired up from all the way over here as he kind of delivered the blow. He does a nice job right here of just getting out of the first tackle and then ducking his head and kind of delivering the punishment on the sideline.
That was Brian Dillard on the receiving end. And another completion for Sullivan. That'll move the sticks. Another first down for Tulane. That's number 11 on the day for Tulane. And after sputtering a little bit offensively, boy, they've done awfully well since. And Brendan Sullivan getting his first. And I said Ole Miss earlier. He's a transfer from Iowa.
They're close.
My fault. And he'll take it himself. He's a guy that doesn't mind running either. And has some moves, apparently. Gets up to midfield. So what could have been a negative play nets about 3 yards to bring up a 2nd down and 7.
Really nice job. 6'4", 220 pounds. He does a great job of just staying in control right here and then just making a couple of guys miss. And then ducking his head and getting as much as he possibly can. Only about a 3-yard run, but a tough 3-yard run right there for Sullivan.
But it's a positive play, and Tulane has had plenty of them, especially midway through the first and all of the second. Running back now, Zuberi Mobley. As a wave at midfield, it'll be Sullivan rolling to his right. Going downfield, has the pitch and the catch. Bryce Bohannon going to the turf in front of Dallas Young to make the 1st down, and Tulane now deep in South Alabama territory once again.
That was just a nice job of Sullivan keeping his eyes downfield as he reverses field. He's got one-on-one coverage on the outside and does a nice job of picking up his receiver and throwing the ball a little short, but his receiver does a nice job of coming down, getting that ball off the carpet, picking up a 1st down for Tulane.
And he had options too, because the underneath route was wide open, and obviously he could have taken it himself as well. So Tulane offensively having their way. Mobley dancing around the line of scrimmage, bottled up after a 1-yard gain. Much better job defensively by South Alabama there as Dalton Hughes among the sea of blue jerseys making the stop.
And Dalton Hughes does a nice job of just getting off the block right there, getting into the backfield, and then does a good job of, you see so many guys want to run up and make that hit.
2-minute timeout.
But does a nice job of getting that as we get our 2-minute timeout.
And that's where we will take a break. Tulane trying to add to their lead. 21-14. They've got the lead and the football. Back to Mobile after this. The Tulane Green Wave with the football and a 21-14 lead. 2 minutes to go here in the half. And it's been the ground game that has been Tulane's calling card. Outrushed opponents in 30 of their last 41 games. Lost one of those to Southern Miss, but tonight they've outrushed South Alabama so far 141-92. As you take a look at Javen Gordon in the backfield on a 2nd and 9, and it'll be Gordon who gets the call. Stopped at about the 28-yard line, so he'll be 4 yards shy. And now you start looking at timeouts. Does South Alabama want to try and make something happen? They've got all 3 to work with. So does Tulane. The clock is still running. And we got a 3rd down and about 4. And Tulane will have to get to the 24-yard line in order to move the sticks.
And the heavy package back in on that left side for the Green Wave.
And a whistle and flags.
Start.
Yep. That's a big penalty as Brendan Sullivan was taking it himself.
Yeah, they were going back to that same play that we saw Retzloff run earlier. They bring in the heavy package, shift them all to the left side, and then just block it straight up and let their quarterback go.
So that'll back them up to about the 33-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 now.
False start, 88 offense. That penalty carries a 10-second runoff, but South Alabama has chosen to decline the 10-second runoff. The clock will start. Correction. They have chosen to take the 10-second runoff. The clock will start on the ready.
Wondering about that. I said, you would
Please set game clock to 1:13.
You'd want to go ahead and take it at this point, see what happens here, and then if you make the stop, call a timeout, and you've got a couple to work with. But you got to make the stop first. As the clock now rolls again, 3rd down and 9. Sullivan, his first drive of the ball game. He's been 2 for 2 passing on this drive. They will keep it on the ground and get nowhere. Stopped at about the 32-yard line. Now timeout South Alabama as Duda Barnes was wrapped up, pushed back.
Timeout South Alabama. That's their 2nd of the half. This will be 30 seconds in length.
Now that said, you're looking at about a 49-yard attempt should Tulane try it, and they've got the kickers to certainly be able to do that.
Yeah, Coach Summerall told us they have the legs, and so we'll kind of see what they end up doing here. But that was just a great stand by that defensive front of South Alabama, the push. And we've seen that big offensive line from Tulane kind of wearing South Alabama down as this game has progressed. But boy, that time that defensive line does a really nice job of standing them straight up and actually getting a little bit of a push. And that's what's going to bring up that 4th down, and we'll see what Tulane decides to do here.
Durkin was 3 for 3 on field goals last week. He was good from the 20 to 20-yard distance, good from the 30-yard distance, good from the 40-yard distance. His long was 41. And this will be about a 50-yarder here. So it will be a 50-yarder. Certainly in Durkin's range, as the punter Alec Clark is the holder. Tulane trying to make it a 10-point advantage. Good snap, good hold, plenty of distance, and plenty of accuracy. Patrick Durkin still perfect on the season, and Tulane now on top by 10, 24-14. That's 24 unanswered points. Now that said, you got to think though, that's kind of a win for the South Alabama defense because they hadn't been able to stop Tulane offensively, and Major Applewhite's got to like the fact that you got the stop, you got the ball, 49 seconds, 2 timeouts to work with, I thought, although maybe it's 1. Have to double check on that. But either way, got an opportunity to offensively do something should you choose, because remember, it's Tulane that'll get the ball to start the 2nd half.
Yeah, we're showing South Alabama with only 1 timeout left.
That's my mistake there. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I remember him taking that one early.
You're right.
Yeah.
And then the last time out.
Yep.
Yeah, good call. So it'll be Durkin.
You had no faith I could count to 2. That was the problem.
Well,
right
I wasn't
there.
going to say it out loud.
I saw it all over your face.
I thought it.
You know, after we've been spending way too much time together, I knew exactly where that was going. You gotta get both shoes on. You're getting a 2. Come on.
Keenan Phillips standing by at the goal line. And Durkin will put it into the end zone, unreturnable. So the Jags will have it at the 25-yard line. 1 timeout to work with.
So how creative do you get here, though? That's the question, right? I mean, you had some success downfield with Voisin early, but you got to think Tulane's going to be playing really, really soft and try to keep everything in front of them, which now, I mean, maybe you can get some 15-yard chunk plays just because they are trying to keep it in front of you and at least get a field goal chance out of this if you're South Alabama.
Now, keep in mind, as Bishop Davenport runs onto the field, Tulane's got 2 timeouts to work with. So you don't want to go,
too crazy.
Yeah, 3 quick incompletes and see what happens. But Bishop, 7 of 10 passing, 89 yards. Let's see if he goes to the air here. He's been a weapon running the football as well. In fact, they'll give it this time to Kentrell Bullock. We'll get up to the 30-yard line. And let's see if anybody decides to stop the clock here. And if not, that may be the last play.
And that 7 out of 10, I mean, it's been pretty impressive because there's a couple ones you think about that he had when he was rolling out, didn't see anybody. I like the way he's played this first half. He hasn't done anything crazy out of the ordinary and threw a couple of balls away that he had an opportunity as now.
Well, the Jags didn't need to stop it because the play clock.
They actually called that on Tulane.
That's their second of the half.
Okay.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
And again, if you're John Summerall on the Tulane staff, make them do something here.
Clock to 16 seconds. 1-6.
Yeah, but I think he's more upset with the personnel, let's say. As you kind of got a view right there. I don't know if they had the right folks in that he wanted or if somebody wasn't lined up where they were supposed to. And I don't know who's on the other end of the headset, but they're.
I know it's not us.
Yeah,
we're fine. We're up here.
I know that look. I've seen that look. And she's usually not wearing a headset when she's looking at me like that, but I know what that means. And the coach was not happy.
Bishop Davenport still in at quarterback with Kentrell Bullock to his left. You would assume right here that Major Applewhite will keep it on the ground. South Alabama offensively started out fantastic. Jumped out to a 14-0 lead as Bullock will get the carry up to the 35-yard line, I should say. Gets a first down. And let's see if that will indeed take us to the half. Tulane starting to walk to the visitor locker room. South Alabama starting to do the walk to their locker room, and that indeed will be the last play of the first half. So it was South Alabama jumping out to a 14-0 lead. Bishop Davenport scored. Devin Voisin scored. But since then, it has been all green wave. Tulane has put up 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And the Tulane Green Wave have been awfully impressive here in the mid part of the first quarter and the entire second quarter as they have taken control here in Mobile. Bishop Davenport, the guy that got it started for South Alabama, waltzing into the end zone. And then Devin Voisin all by himself after he makes a great adjustment and then outruns the coverage. But since then, it has been Tulane who has done the job. Touchdown, 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 field goal, Green Wave up 10.
At the University of South Alabama, taking a course means more than just sitting in a classroom. There are plenty of opportunities for research, creativity, and scholarship.
In healthcare research, we're pursuing life-saving cures, disease treatments, and advancements that will help people lead better lives. And this research goes beyond our colleges of medicine, nursing, and allied health to encompass specialties such as biomedical engineering.
From our campus and at the nearby Dauphin Island Sea Lab, we're protecting the coastal environment and our valuable marine resources. Some days, your classroom is a boat.
But it's best not to go out in choppy weather. Don't worry. We have the Coastal Weather Research Center, where our meteorology students work alongside forecasters predicting weather for clients across the United States. Our focus on environmental sustainability extends beyond the coast, all the way into space. South has a nationally recognized ionic liquids team that is researching ways to use liquid salt as a more efficient and greener solvent, including building a next-generation carbon dioxide scrubber for the International Space Station. South's research has down-to-earth applications, too. At the College of Engineering, our faculty are expanding wastewater treatment in Alabama's Black Belt, and our cybersecurity research at the School of Computing is contributing to our nation's cyber defense. At the same time, we're preserving Gulf Coast culture and history, enriching lives through music and the arts, and contributing to success in K-12 education.
Research at South isn't reserved for graduate students. There are one-on-one opportunities across disciplines for undergraduates at South through the Office of Undergraduate Research, which offers fellowships and an annual symposium.
Research gives you the chance for amazing experiences that you'll take with you after graduation to your first job or a graduate or professional school.
Graduating from high school is just such a big decision where you're going to spend your next 4 years. All throughout my high school career, I knew that I wanted to go to South Alabama. There wasn't any other university that I could ever imagine myself going to, and South Alabama was at the forefront of my mind the whole time. I came here on a tour and I just felt at home. All the genuine connections that I felt just coming here for that one day from South Alabama, I knew that this was a place I wanted to spend my next 4 years. I'm getting my degree in hospitality and tourism management, and that program is a smaller program at South. It just started up, but they have given me so many amazing opportunities to grow into the person that I am today. And then around my junior year, I got an interest into sports and emailed the athletic director at South, Dr. Joel Erdman, and asked him if I could get a student worker position in operations since I had a little bit of interest in there. And they gave me the opportunity, and here I am a year and a half later, and it's what I want to do with my career. After getting this position in the sports world, I knew that I wanted to get into more leadership opportunities at South Alabama. So that's when I became a senator for the College of Education and Professional Studies in SGA, and just writing bills and getting to know the Senate. Then it was definitely a big step for me, but it led me to want to run for SGA president. So SGA president is just such a big title at South Alabama, and I knew that I wanted to go for this position because I knew that I could give back to this university that has truly just given me so much, and give back to the students and the student body here at South Alabama. I just love the spirit and the pride that the university as a whole has together, and how we truly are a South family.
you're always going to have those Mardi Gras beads when you're in Mobile, and of course appropriate when you're playing Tulane out of New Orleans. Right now, it's Tulane on top 24-14. Pat Greenwood, Brian Gennard in the broadcast booth, and boy, what a difference. South Alabama started fantastic on offense, and ever since then, Tulane has weathered that storm, and the Tulane Green Wave have that lead. Let's take a look at the highlights and show you exactly how we got to it. It was South Alabama all fantastic early. It was Bishop Davenport. First time we've seen him running like this. They were very vanilla against Morgan State last week, but this time it was Bishop Davenport getting into the end zone. Then the turnover parade started happening. Anthony Eager had it stripped loose. Tulane with a short field. Ty Goodwill with a hit, strips it loose. Then Retzloff, the quarterback. We know how deadly he can be with his legs. He has the ball knocked loose, and South Alabama turns away Tulane early, still keeping a 7-0 lead at that point. And then Devin Boyson, guy that got into the end zone last week against Morgan State, great adjustment in the air and then beats everybody to the end zone. And South Alabama was cruising early on top 14-0. But midway through the first quarter, that's when Tulane started cooking. Pascuzzi, the 5-yard touchdown from Retzlaff, makes it 14-7. How about Jabari Mobley, 16 yards and the touch. And then Retzlaff takes it himself left side and add a field goal to it. It's 24-14 in favor of the Green Wave.
Yeah, and as you look at the stats, Pat, what you really see, don't see here is the difference in the first quarter and the second quarter. It's been all Tulane in that second quarter, and so far that 24 unanswered points. Turnovers even, but points off the turnover. South Alabama with the advantage there, but boy, that rally of 24 unanswered. Tulane with 10 more minutes of possession than South Alabama in that second quarter. You talked about those long sustained drives. We saw them, and that's what Tulane's been able to put together, and they're going to get the ball to start the second half as well.
John Summerall likes it when his team outrushes the opponents, and they will get the ball when we get back. Third quarter action coming your way next in Mobile. And welcome back to Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile. It's 24-14 Green Wave, and they're looking for more. Anthony Brown-Stevens, the deep guy, to field this kick from Hamilton to Boyan, and he'll take it at the 11-yard line. Going left side, a little spin move up to the 24-yard line. And it'll be 1st and 10 there for Tulane, as Christyle Caldwell, guy that makes the tackle on special teams. How important is this for South Alabama defensively?
It's huge. I mean, you know, the drives, the ones that resulted in 7 points, all were 60 yards or less, right? So great field position. The last one Tulane put together, they did put together a nice drive. It was 80. Well, they started at the 15. They ended up with that long field goal to 50 yards. But for South Alabama, boy, you've really got to come out, kind of establish something here, get this ball back as quick as you can, and see if you can stop that 24-point just scoring or binge that Tulane's been on.
And you saw Will Wyndham, the defensive coordinator. Now on the other side, John Sumrall.
The ball placement was incorrect. The ball will be respotted. 1st down.
Is upset about which hash the ball was on. And so now they'll move it over to the left hash. And it'll be Jake Retzloff back in at quarterback. We saw Brendan Sullivan come in for that last Tulane drive. He's got Zabari Mobley behind him. It'll be Retzloff to throw, and has all day to do it. Great blocking along the offensive line. Retzloff takes it himself, forced out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And statistically, that's going to go to Retzloff. But boy, you've got to give Graham, Hurst, Holofield, Baker, Reed, that offensive line is doing a whale of a job up front.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the secondary, South Alabama was doing a great job because he had no place to go with that ball, but the offensive line was doing even a better job as they were able to kind of just hold him off, and finally Blaine Myrick's able to force him out of bounds. But the South's got to get some kind of pressure on Retzloff if they're going to be successful here in this second half.
They'll stick to the ground game. They got the 1st down and more. Mobley across the 40 to the 41-yard line. 1st down, Tulane. It's now 13 1st downs as a team for the Green Wave. And rushing, that'll put them right around the 170 mark.
When you just see that hole open up right there, and then Mobley does a nice job of cutting it back to the left side.
It's great vision.
Really, yeah, that's one of those things which, well, you can't teach that. When a running back has that vision, be able to see where that little split second of a cut's going to make a difference between a 1-yard run and a 5 or 6 yard run.
Mobley was a solid player at Florida Atlantic, and he is clearly a solid player at Tulane as well, as he's one of the newcomers to that Tulane offense. Darius McKenzie, one of the guys in on the stop, along with Nehemiah Chandler. 2nd down and about 4. We'll see if this Tulane offense can continue a sustained drive, as you just see the South Alabama defense looking more and more fatigued.
Yeah, trying to get some fresh guys in there on 2nd down. And as you said, I mean, just the attrition as this game keeps going on, I think Tulane has the advantage there with their depth.
Mobley, left side, met by a wall of blue jerseys. They stop him at the line of scrimmage to bring up a 3rd down. Wallace in there on the stop.
That's just a great job by South Alabama. Dozier also in there at the bottom of that pile. They do a good job of getting penetration and then kind of getting low and then making sure that not only are you under the pads of those offensive linemen, but you're able to come up and wrap up the running back as well.
R.J. Moss also in on the stop. Brings up a 3rd down and 4. Got to get across the 50 to get the 1st down. 3 rushing. And boy, a bullet in there for a 1st down. There wasn't a big window for Retzloff to put it in there, but Anthony Miller, we talked about them using their body, 6'5", 265, kind of like a basketball player blocking out.
And not even a window. There wasn't a pane right there. I mean, it's just, he got it in there just by the hair of his chinny chin. What a throw.
And now they'll go deep, almost a one-handed grab. Good protection there, good coverage by Wesley Miller. And that's an incomplete pass, 2nd down.
Yeah, but that's a great matchup for Tulane. I mean, 5'11" Miller on a 6'5" receiver in Miller.
Yeah.
And I thought Anthony was going to be able to stab that one-handed, but good job by Wesley to knock it away.
So 2nd down and 10. at the South Alabama 46-yard line. Javion Gordon gets the call left side. He'll keep churning the legs until about the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 5. And even when Tulane has what looks to be minimal gains, you look up and go, okay, that's 5 yards. Wow.
And that'll just start with that surge of that offensive line. You can get that push about a yard or two. Then the way their runners run the ball, Mobley and Barnes, I mean, they're doing a nice job of pushing the ball once they get up to it, but they're not getting up to it till about 2 or 3 yards anyway.
Big chance here for the South Alabama defense. They need a stop. Tulane, ground game. First down and more. Into the open field is Javion Gordon. Finally brought down at the 20-yard line. But Gordon, just a freshman.
That's just the moves of Gordon right here. Watch this. I mean, you look like South's going to have him dead to rights in the backfield. Gordon just able to make a couple of moves, duck under a tackle, and get all the way down inside the 20-yard line for the Green Wave.
Nehemiah Chandler, the guy that made the stop. But now Tulane, 7 of 11 on third down conversions. They're inside the red zone. There's Gordon again, and Gordon hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Much better defensive pursuit as Christopher Wallace Jr., the guy that made the stop.
You gotta love that when Wallace Jr. comes up in that rover position, does a nice job of not only making the hit but wrapping up. It's one of my pet peeves when guys run up and want to hit you and not wrap up, but Wallace Jr. does a great job of coming up and making the contact and then also wrapping his arms around and turning the running back right there at the 20-yard line.
He's a local kid from Mary G. Montgomery High School. 21 players from the Mobile-Baldwin County area on this South Alabama roster. Retzloff has it incomplete and a ton of flags at about the 24-yard line in the area typically that you'll see a hold.
Yeah, you're going to have a hold right there. I think it's going to be on Holyfield again.
Holding, 58 offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay second down.
You nailed it.
You know what, I can sympathize with that young man because I may have seen a few of those back in my day.
And you saw him to the right side of that screen. Yeah, it was pursuit going to the right and then back to the left. And Holyfield,
all right, here we go.
The App State transfer, just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. So that'll push him back to the 30-yard line.
The only thing good about my day, they didn't have the microphone, so nobody, they just hold it. They didn't say whose number it was.
Right?
Yeah. I just got yelled at during film session. I didn't have everybody in the stadium know.
Well, they do that on the high school level too now.
Oh, yeah.
They'll tell you exactly who did it. So it's 2nd and 21. Retzloff looking to throw. Once again, great protection. Goes back across his body. Good completion inside the 20 to get a big chunk of it back. That's Amari Hayes on the receiving end. Check that. That's Chaz Preston. First catch for Preston.
You can't blame that on your secondary. I mean, your secondary did a great job. I mean, you got all day to throw, and if you're going to let somebody like Retzloff just sit back there and guys be able to change their route, that's not on your secondary. They did a great job for the first 5 or 6 seconds of making sure they were in coverage. Eventually, somebody's going to get away from you, and Preston did there.
So a 2nd and 21 now results in a 3rd and 7. Much more manageable. And a little quick slant well over the intended receiver's head. That was Chaz Preston with a little quick slant opportunity. And Coach Sumrall says, yeah, that'll be enough. We'll send in the kicking unit. And again, kind of a win for South Alabama's defense and keep them out of the end zone and force them to a field goal try.
As Patrick Durkin have to go over 60 yards.
Yeah.
Resulted in 3 instead of 7, but that was a nice job on the blitz right there. I think that's really what threw off that slant route that they were trying to throw. They were trying to throw it right into the blitz, but South did a good job on the defense there.
34-yard attempt by Durkin, and he remains perfect on the season. Right down the uprights into the Michelob Ultra Terrace. And now make it 27 unanswered points for the Green Wave. South Alabama will try to answer when we get back. It's 27-14, the Wave rolling in Mobile. Southpaw, the South Alabama mascot. He always has Miss Paula with him as well. I don't know where Miss Paula is at this particular point, but there's a look at Kentrell Bullock running out on the special teams. He's been the leading rusher so far for South Alabama. 11 carries, 54 yards, long of 13, averaging close to 5 yards a carry. But as a team, after that first quarter, really South Alabama hadn't been able to do much on the ground against this Tulane defense. Tulane as a whole has only given up 104 on the ground. The other majority of that going to Bishop Davenport.
Yeah, as we looked at that stat earlier, I think in the somewhere mid-second quarter, that average was up around 5.5, almost 5.6, and then all of a sudden you see it kind of slowly creeping down to under 5 in the 4s now, and that's just a product of those adjustments that Tulane's been able to make. As you see another kickoff into the end zone there by the Tulane Green Wave, but that's it. I mean, you know, those first couple of drives, and since then the adjustments that Tulane's been able to make and just really kind of slowed this offense down. Davenport's still playing a good game. I mean, completion percentage, I think he's making good choices, but that front 4, 5, and sometimes 8 that Tulane's been putting in there has been a lot for South Alabama to handle.
You're going to have to see some downfield shots at some point, as Bullock with nice carry there for about 7, maybe 8, bring up a very manageable second down. But you got to think that for South Alabama, you're going to have to loosen up that secondary. Tulane's just stacking the box and saying, you're not going to be able to run on us.
Well, and think back too, they're really jumping those routes, and if, you know, maybe a pump and go, something just to kind of, like you said, loosen things up a little bit as they go back to the run and going to get close to the first down.
Looks like he's going to be about a half-yard short. The offensive lineman saying, no, we got it. But I believe, yeah, they're going to mark it just shy of the 35-yard line, so that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Well, that's not good. Bullock kind of a little gimpy coming out as he's hopping to the sideline. Now going to take his helmet off and go straight to the bench as they're going to look at that ankle.
So P.J. Martin is the guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for Tulane. Everybody coming. And P.J. Martin still able to squirt through and get the first down. That's a big pickup for South Alabama offensively.
Not really sure how he got through there, Pat. I mean, if you look at it, P.J. did a really nice job of just kind of ducking under.
And it'll be Bishop Davenport doing a good job along the left side as he faked it to P.J. Martin. He'll gain 8. So it shows you what I know. South Alabama starting to move the ball on the ground once again.
And Jack Chinchu comes up and makes a tackle for Tulane, but an 8-yard gain will take those every time. Will Davenport.
And now they'll go to the air, bobbled and caught by McCrumbie. McCrumbie across the 50 into Tulane territory. That's another first down for South Alabama, and the offense starting to roll. We haven't seen this in a while.
Playing with a little bit of pace as well, as you see just a nice crossing route right there. Chinchu's going to fall down. South does a nice job of holding on to that ball. South substituted. It's going to give Tulane a second to sub, and as they hold this snap right here.
Davenport calling the signals. P.J. Martin again in the backfield. And he will get the call right side as he will continue to get the positive yardage. 9-yard gain for P.J. Martin. How about P.J.? De La Salle High School. All the New Orleans people know very much about P.J. Martin. 8 carries for 40 yards last week. He'll get the call again. He'll get the first down inside the 30, down to the 27.
Boy, South with just the tempo right there. Went back around the exact same play. Just trying to catch Tulane off guard. I think they do. South would like to see him mark it a little faster, the way that they're kind of playing with some tempo. Gave Tulane a second to sub a couple of guys in.
Martin staying in. 4 down for Tulane. Now he'll get flushed out of the backfield. Bishop calls his own number, breaks a tackle, gets inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. So again, very positive plays here by South Alabama offensively.
Just a nice job on that right side of that offensive line, and Davenport able to make a guy miss right at the point of attack and pick up about 4.
Kentrell Bullock kind of limped off of that gimpy ankle, but he is back in the ball game now. And he will get the call. No, he won't. It'll be Bishop Davenport taking it off the fake to Kentrell. Gets it to the 18-yard line, 1 yard shy bring up a 3rd and 1. South Alabama 3 of 6 on 3rd down conversions today. Trying to make it 4 of 7 here. They go to the ground. Bullock is wrapped up, pushed back by Gerard Henderson. It'll depend on the spot. I think he's shy of the first down. But big Gerard Henderson, 6'2", 285, met Bullock in the hole, and no movement whatsoever for South Alabama. I think they're going to go here. It's 4th and 1. Davenport sends a runner in motion. The ball on the turf. Tulane recovers on the mishandled snap. Well, Tulane making plays when they need to make the plays.
By Tulane.
Isaiah Shine is the guy that came up with it, but really didn't matter at that point. Once the snap was mishandled, it was 4th down, and South Alabama had no opportunities. I think Bishop just tried to make something happen. Got to get the ball first. Couldn't do it. And a turnover by South Alabama.
Yeah, ball was a little high, but that's, I mean, we're not talking like he had to jump to get it. It about face mask high, and it may be one of those situations where maybe Davenport's looking to see where blocking is downfield, things like that, and just let that one get away from him. But so the positives of that, boy, South Alabama looked really good at times right there in that drive, able to put some runs together and a couple short passes that really kind of got that offense a little bit of spark for the first time since about the first quarter. You hate how it ended for South, but now the defense needs to step up and see what they can do here for the South Alabama Jaguars.
Javen Gordon, he's hit in the hole. That's a big hit at the line of scrimmage by South Alabama. That's big Caleb Dozier. Native of Dothan, Alabama, transferred from Georgia Tech. 1 game for the Yellow Jackets. The linebacker and tight end when he was at Headland High School. And he laid the lumber. Now 2nd down, they get to him. Retzloff is sacked in the backfield. First time that South Alabama defensively has gotten him in the backfield.
That's a great job and great penetration right there by South Alabama.
Dominic Wiseman, the guy that got to him, and now 3rd and long. We'll call it 3rd and 19 from their own 13. How about Dominic Wiseman getting in on the sack parade? He just went right past Darian Reed, the right tackle. And boy, that's a big stop for South Alabama. They got to get another one here and force Tulane to punt. Jags bringing pressure again. Pass is dropped. Now South will pounce on it just to make sure that it was not a lateral. It was not, as Icaro Lewis couldn't handle the pass. And boy, the momentum starting to shift just a bit South Alabama's way. Much needed as the defense steps up and makes the stop.
You got to love to see that by your defense. You have a 4th and 1, you lay it down on the carpet, your defense comes out and responds really well for you.
Alec Clark booms one out of bounds. South Alabama's going to have good field position here.
This should be
we'll see where the referee
50-yard line or
right at it.
Yeah.
Yep. South Alabama will have the football on the Jag head when we get back. Jags trailing 27-14, but a short field to work with. 3rd quarter action in Mobile. South Alabama, very new football program. They didn't start football till 2009, became Division I in 2012. How about this meeting, first time they ever played the Green Wave back in 2013. Ross Matheny, the quarterback, threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2 more, and despite a furious Tulane rush at the end, South Alabama came away with a 41-39 win, and at the time, that was probably one of the biggest wins in South Alabama football history, as they were really slowly starting to build this program.
Yeah, back in the day when the Tulane Green Wave were still playing at the Dome.
Well, South Alabama's average starting field position at about the 25-yard line. Right now, they get to start at the 50. There's Anthony Eager on the pitch pass, going left side. He's got some room, gets about 4 yards, but handles the football, and ball security was an issue on that play first quarter. This time they hang on to it, get a positive gain of 4. It's 2nd down and 6. Back to the ground game. It's Kentrell Bullock. Man, what a tough run there by Kentrell. Took a big hit and then still kept the legs churning. Makai Williams was the guy that met him, and Kentrell just continued to roll forward and now brings up a 3rd and 3.
We talked about it in the opening. I mean, everybody talks about he's got that NFL type running ability, and you can see it as he runs downhill and almost delivers the blow if he's met with pressure.
Put 7 in the box. And doesn't matter. Kentrell Bullock squirts through. 1st down inside the 35 to the 34. Well, Tulane was locked and loaded for a run, and South Alabama offensively did a great job of blocking. And Kentrell saw the hole and exploded through it.
Does a nice job of just following his offensive lineman right there. I think that was Asher Hell. No, actually, that was Hubbard that he got in the hip pocket of.
Now here comes a pitch and catch. Devin Voisin makes the catch. Good move at the 10-yard line. Another strike from Bishop Davenport to Devin Voisin. And South Alabama knocking on the door.
South going play with pace right here as well.
I'll go to the ground game. Bullock left side. Kentrell stumbling inside the 5 to about the 2. It is a goal-to-go situation, I believe. Yeah, so it'll be 2nd down and goal. I wasn't sure if that Voisin catch got him inside the 10-yard line, but they say it just did. So it's 2nd down, goal at the 2. Again, good tough run there by Kentrell Bullock. And let's see if South Alabama can cash in. It's Bullock again at the goal line. Did he get in? Referees say no. Stopped about an inch shy of the goal line. It's 3rd down.
Boy, and a change of personnel right here from both teams as beef starting to come in on both sides to try to see if they can push this one in. But boy, you can see it right here. Bullock's going to be really close to getting across that goal line for South Alabama.
P.J. Martin is the running back here. It's his call. Martin, he is stopped shy of the goal line. It's 4th and goal at the 1.
You may have 12 men on the field for Tulane. I'm trying to count white jerseys and green helmets.
12 men on
good
defense.
Call.
That's half the distance to the goal.
I got the 2 earlier. I got the 12 now.
Look at you, man.
I'm having a day, baby. Step back.
Fantastic job, Brian Gennard.
That's right. I'm just glad there's been no replays because I'm still 0 for 21 in that department. But I'm tearing math up today.
So 3rd and goal is what we'll do again from about the half-yard line. Bullock back in. Davenport to his right, working out of the shotgun. Whistle. Flags and a movement by South Alabama.
79 offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Jordan Davis is the guilty party there.
And see, that's where it's not fair, Pat. You know, I mean, defense only had to give up a half a yard. South's got to give up 5. So, and I hate it for everybody, but it's one of those things that's like, okay, well, we only gave up a yard, and now South's back at 6. But if you're a quarterback, that just gives you more room to work, and you've got some more room in the back of the end zone to work with as well, right?
That's what you do if you're the optimist. You say, that's all right, we'll do it from the 6. 3rd down and goal. Davenport to Bullock, dancing around. He'll get maybe to the 5-yard line, and it's 4th down. And you saw the graphic, the South Alabama 0 for 2 on 4th down conversions. And it doesn't look like there's any movement toward the special teams at this point. And that's because it's the end of the quarter. So they'll have some time to discuss. We'll change ends of the field when we come back.
Quarter.
South Alabama facing a 4th and goal at the 5-yard line, trailing 27-14. We'll see what they do when we get back to Hancock-Whitney Stadium. Tulane wearing the white jerseys tonight. They don't have a problem playing on the road. In fact, they won 15 of their last 17 away from Ullman Stadium. Only losses to nationally ranked Oklahoma and Army. Found themselves trailing South Alabama 14-0 in the first quarter, but they've since scored 27 straight. And now a big play here as South Alabama facing a 4th and goal at the 5-yard line. Jags 0 for 2 on 4th down conversions tonight. Only 4 of 9 on 3rd down conversions. So, been part of the difference here. South Alabama going to go for it, try to make it a 6-point game. Bishop Davenport, P.J. Martin, 3 wideouts. Check that, 2 wideouts to the near side. Now it is 3 to the near side, 1 to the far. Gonna try and spread out that Tulane defense. Play clock at 3. They're going to have to hurry here. And it looks like they call a timeout. They're going to see, I think.
Actually, I think they just
delay game.
Yeah,
they just took the
That's
delay,
a 5-yard penalty.
which is
Still
interesting
4th
that
down.
they wouldn't go up and give a hard count or anything. I mean, just to try to, you're only going to get half the distance, but it makes it a little more manageable if you're going to try to run. But it would have been just about The other thing is you're in the middle of the field, so it would have been about the same distance as an extra point.
28-yard attempt. Hamilton DeBoyan 1 for 1 on field goals this year, and it was from this distance. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on the way and right through the uprights. And so South Alabama finally stops that Tulane scoring streak. They put 3 on the board. We'll go to break. It's a 10-point ball game. Tulane football when we get back as DeBoyan brings the Jags closer. South Alabama, Tulane. We talked about that 2013 game. How about Kawan Baker? This was in 2020. That was the first touchdown ever at Hancock-Whitney Stadium as South Alabama and Tulane played. And the Jags had a hefty lead, double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter, and Tulane came storming back to get the victory as the Tulane Green Wave came away with a pretty big win, as that was the introduction to Hancock-Whitney Stadium. And again, you know, you're only talking 150 miles or so between these two schools. Love the fact that they're playing right now and love to see them play more often.
Yeah, in our conversation with Coach Summerall earlier this week, he said the exact same thing. He loves this matchup. He thinks that this is good for both teams. And, you know, like you said, the fact that it's under 150 miles, you can go and spend the day. I mean, now we have you could take the Amtrak and
that's true,
and slide over and watch a game and come back late that night if you need to in either direction. So, you know, these two cities are connected, and it'd be great to see this as an annual game.
Duda Barnes, the setback next to Jake Retzloff on 1st and 10 for Tulane, and Barnes stood up at the line of scrimmage and pushed back. Boy, the defense for South Alabama looking much, much better here in this second half.
Yeah, they really are. I think that Wallace Jr. again on another big tackle. Does a nice job from that rover position coming up and making a sure tackle after only a 1-yard gain. But we've seen the last two possessions, South get some pretty good penetration from that defensive line that's caused havoc in the backfield as the rain has started here at Hancock-Whitney. Didn't see that coming at all.
Just a slight drizzle out there, but could affect what happens on the field as that one is overthrown. A little airmail as Retzloff was going for Anthony Miller. Take a look at the rain coming down here in Mobile.
You know what? Your definition of slight drizzle and mine are two different. You know, it's funny because I was watching the moon across from us, and we'd seen it all night long. And about 15 minutes ago, it disappeared, and I kind of wondered where it went. And Now I know.
I can tell you our camera people are saying, yeah, you can say it's a drizzle because you're inside.
Yeah.
Fair point. So 3rd down and about 9. Tulane's got to get to the 32-yard line. Retzloff looking almost the same exact play, and he gets it complete to Anthony Brown Stevens. And did it move the chains? It's going to be right at it, and they say yes. Boy, that's a great job by Brown Stevens, knowing exactly where the first down marker is and getting right to it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. He ran that route about 3 or 4 yards deep, so when he came back in his curl, he's right there where he needs to be. He knows that even if they come up and make that tackle, he's got the first down.
A stick to the air, and that one's knocked away. Nice job defensively by Brian Dillard. Dillard, the redshirt senior from Ocala, Florida, transferred from West Georgia, 5 games on special teams last year.
You know, watch this right here. Dillard just does a great job of knowing where the ball is and sticking that hand up there. He wished he could have come down with. That'd have been a heck of a one-handed catch right there if you're able to do it. But Dillard with a nice defensive play right there for South Alabama.
Shaz Preston was the intended receiver. He was blanketed, though. So even if it hadn't been knocked away, I don't think that was going to be a completion. 2nd down and 10. They'll go to the ground game. It's across the 35 to the 36. Gain of 4. That'll bring up another important 3rd down. 3rd and 6 is Tulane 8 of 14 on 3rd down conversions, compared to just 4 of 9 for South Alabama. And the Jags also over when it comes to 4th down conversions. Been a big difference, that plus the field position, because the stats aren't that far off. Total offense 296 for South Alabama, 323 for Tulane.
South needs some pressure right here. Can't Retzloff just sit back there all day long.
They'll bring 5 across the middle, slant, caught, 1st down. Bryce Bohannon, as South Alabama brought the pressure, and Bohannon just curled right where that defense was. Makes the catch. Good strike there by Retzloff, and another 1st down by Tulane.
That's just arm strength right there. I mean, you watch it. He just zips that ball in right between 2 defenders, and then nice job keeping your feet right there. And getting out past the 50-yard line for Tulane.
Just into South Alabama territory with the clock winding down, just north of 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Still a 2-possession Tulane lead. They'll go left side. Not much there. Maybe a gain of 1. There's a lot of blue jerseys there coming up off the pile. Ed Smith kind of getting into it with one of the Tulane guys. We'll get the tackle to Darius McKenzie. Make it 2nd down and 9.
That's just, we've been hitting on each other for 3 quarters and it's getting old, right? So eventually something's got to give, and games usually kind of get, especially close games like this, sometimes get a little chippy here in the 4th quarter.
Brown Stevens in motion as Retzloff, play fake, goes right side to Brown Stevens, makes the catch beyond the sticks. Another 1st down. Javon Henderson was in coverage, but it was Brown Stevens again running a good route and then cutting it off right at the sticks and getting just enough separation. We talked with Coach Sumrall about the positives of Retzloff when he comes in so late into the program. He said, you know, he was having to adjust to the new terminology. That was one of the big things that he had to do, but physically wasn't a whole lot that this Tulane coaching staff had to do to adapt to what Retzloff brings.
Yeah, they said that a lot of the plays were allowed almost the same in some of the formations, but it was the terminology that got him. But you can see with that arm strength, and you see it right there as he rolls out and finds his tight end dragging across the middle wide open. Pick up another 8-9 yards for Tulane. But what I've really been impressed with is just kind of his poise in the pocket, and then, like you said, just when guys come out of their breaks, his arm strength is so good that as a guy comes out of his break, the ball's usually coming right over his shoulder, and actually they pick up 10 yards, and Tulane with another 1st down right there inside the 30-yard line.
There's a reason he was a starter at a very good Power 5 team at BYU. So 1st and 10 inside the 30. We'll call the line of scrimmage the 28. As Shaz Preston in motion, they'll run left side, breaking a tackle, breaking some more, and into the clear. Barry Mobley, touchdown, Tulane. What a run by Mobley. My goodness. About 2 or 3 times the Jags had a chance to bring him down. They couldn't do it. And Mobley finds the corner of the end zone. And Tulane now up 34-17.
And Mobley listed at 5'10", 196. And guys coming up and trying to hit him and knock him off his feet. And Mobley just not having anything to do with it. Nobody wrapping up right there on that run for South. And Mobley just keeps bouncing off folks like a pinball and keeps his feet churning and finds himself in the end zone.
We'll see if Patrick Durkin can make me a profit. It's only 33-17. I assumed he would make the extra point, and I assumed wrong. How about that? Durkin misses the extra point, so we'll keep it at 33-17. But more distance between the Green Wave and the Jags. Time running out here in South Alabama. 10 minutes, 1 second to go. Barry Mobley scores, and Tulane lengthens the lead. Well, Durkin misses the extra point, but it is Tulane. Let's put some more distance between themselves and South Alabama. Not out of the realm yet, but the Jags are going to have to get going offensively pretty quickly. We've seen glimpses of that, especially at the beginning of the ball game. And then pretty good drive last time out and resulted in a field goal. But time not on the side of South Alabama here in game 2 of this season.
And now that rain has kind of almost gone to a drizzle state, but you would think that South's going to have to come out and start slinging the ball around a little more as well, and throw on top of that the rain. It just kind of throws a little more kind of a monkey wrench in some of your plans you got going on.
It's one of those isolated cells, kind of blew through here, but we see the moon starting to peek out above Hancock Whitney Stadium now, so I don't think the rain will be here much longer.
They have a saying here in Mobile, Alabama: if you don't like the weather, stick around for about 10 or 15 minutes. It'll change. And there it is. It's back. Their camera work. Great job by our crew tonight.
Always
catching all the sights and sounds around the stadium and replays. And there you see. Now I'll give you that's a drizzle. There you go.
There you go. It's not out of here yet. But we do know the Jags need to move, and they need to move quickly. Anthony Eager in motion now to the far side. They'll keep it on the ground. Bullock bowling his way across the 30-yard line to the 31. Good gain of about 6 yards for Kentrell Bullock. That'll now put him at 92 yards on the ground. This is not an easy defense by Tulane to run against, and South Alabama's done a pretty good job on the ground as a whole, right at about 175 yards rushing. They'll keep it there. Bullock, little stretch play, first down. He'll get to about the 37-yard line. So move the sticks for South Alabama. 17th first down today.
Anytime you can get over 100 yards rush. I mean, like you said, they only gave up 70-something last week. And this week, I mean, Bullock with a chance to have a 100-yard game against a really, really strong defense.
And it is Bullock once again. He's been the workhorse. That's carry number 22 for number 3. And now he'll call out to P.J. Martin. And he'll tag him out. Here comes P.J. Martin, 3 carries, 18 yards. We'll see if South Alabama continues to keep it on the ground. Time has got to be an issue, though. 8:45 and counting. So plenty of timeouts, and you got the 2-minute timeout to work with, but got to put this one in the end zone. Bishop to throw it this time. Plenty of protection now. It's closing in on him. Voisin has his man beat, but the ball hung up just a little bit as Jaheim Johnson was the guy in coverage. Looked like Voisin had to step on him initially. A good closing speed there by Johnson. Redshirt sophomore from Hammond, Louisiana, not too far from New Orleans. Well, that'll bring up a 3rd down and about 3.
And that's what South was looking for. They had Voisin one-on-one coverage, ran that little out and up, but just unable to connect there.
Voisin is over 100 yards receiving at 105 as Bishop takes it himself. He'll be a yard, maybe a yard and a half shy. Gets to the 46-yard line, and you're in that situation now where it's definite go. Jags 0 for 2 on 4th down. But really no choice here as time's not on your side. It'll be Martin in the backfield. And Bishop calls his own number, and I believe he got the first down. Yeah, that's a big pickup there by Bishop Davenport. 11th time he's carried the ball. He's now up to about 66 yards. Most importantly, that keeps the drive going offensively for South.
Yeah, just a nice fake right there to P.J. Martin, and everybody kind of dive inside to the left-hand side, and Davenport able to take it around to the right, sneak under a few guys, and pick up the first down.
Bishop to throw. A little slant across the middle. That's dropped. They were trying to get it to Rod Gibbs. Gibbs couldn't handle it. Falls to the turf. Incomplete. 2nd down. For Davenport, that's only his 5th incompletion.
And that one should have been caught. Gibbs dragging across the middle from that tight end position. Just like he got his hands turned or something as Davenport released that ball, and Gibbs unable to come up with it.
Bullock back in the lineup as McCrumbie goes in motion. Bishop under duress will be sacked at about the 46-yard line. Looked like he had good protection, then all of a sudden it just started to collapse. And Harvey Dyson, the guy that got credit for the tackle, he's a transfer from Texas Tech. 8 games, 12 tackles for the Red Raiders last year. The redshirt junior, that defensive line, just continues to suffocate Bishop Davenport in the pocket.
Yeah, give some credit to that secondary as well, though. Davenport looking downfield. He had a couple of seconds to look downfield, nobody available. And when he tried to step up, that's when he got sacked.
3rd down, a little screen across the middle. It's across the 50 to the 47. Be about 5 yards shy as Miller McCrumbie, transfer from Arkansas State, is able to get there. So now another 4th down conversion here will be needed for South Alabama.
Boy, when that play first set up, I thought that was fixing to be a big, huge play for South, but Tulane does a nice job of stopping him short. Another 4th down for the Jaguars.
Across the middle, pitch and catch. Perfect strike to Devin Voisin. All of the 35-yard line, and Devin continues to add to his totals, moves the sticks, and the Jags still alive.
That's one of those ones for Voisin. You kind of say, like, you almost want to see him keep running that route, but he did a smart thing. He wanted to make sure they got that first down, and he secured that catch, and he did that at the 35.
Jags have got to start upping the urgency just a bit. 1st and 10 at the Tulane 35-yard line. They'll go to the end zone. Has a receiver. Was it caught? Yes, it was. What a job by Jeremy Scott. One-on-one coverage. He's out of the 1-yard line. Jeremy Scott, first catch of the day. His second of the season, had 1 catch for 8 yards against Morgan State. Now puts South Alabama at the 1-yard line, 1st and goal.
And they're playing with tempo right here. But that was a great job recognizing you got one-on-one coverage on the outside and throwing it over Scott's shoulder on the outside where only he had a chance. Scott made a great play.
It's Kentrell Bullock bullying his way into the end zone. Touchdown, South Alabama. Jags aren't going away just yet. Kentrell Bullock, first rushing touchdown of the day. He had 2 of them against Morgan State. Makes it a 10-point game, and now Jags will go for 2 here and try to make it an 8-point game.
Boy, offensive line does a really nice job right there. Just giving Kentrell Bullock just enough of a crease to get him into the end zone. Like you said, his first touchdown of the night, but 106 yards rushing now for Bullock on the night.
So the Jags will go for 2 here. It's Bishop, left side, into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. We've got a 1-possession game. It's 33-25. And we're not done yet. Don't go away, folks. It is 5 minutes, 27 seconds to go. Bishop Davenport's second rushing touch, or it was Kentrell Bullock with a rushing touchdown. Davenport rushes for the 2-point conversion, 33-25. Jag fans, don't go away just yet. It's 33-25, 1-possession game here. And all sorts of timeouts to play with. You got the 2-minute timeout as well, as Major Applewhite and his guys have clawed back into this one. They're going to have to get a stop here as the kickoff stopped at about the 22-yard line. A good kick coverage by South Alabama, and now we'll see what Tulane can do. It was a 12-play, 75-yard drive for South Alabama. Big play was long pass to Jeremy Scott to get him down to the 1, and then Kentrell Bullock punched it in from there. Bishop Davenport with a 2-point conversion. And thanks to the missed extra point, that's why we've got an 8-point game here. Here's that long pass to Jeremy Scott, who made a great adjustment in the air. And then there's the Bullock touchdown. And now let's see if the defense can hold, as you see Bishop Davenport cashing in on the 2-point conversion. It'll be Retzloff under some pressure. Gets away. Retzloff sliding at about the 30-yard line. That's a pickup of, well, they're going to say he started to slide at about the 28-yard line, maybe the 29. So about 2 yards shy of a first down. Gain of 8. Second down and 2.
Yeah, and Pat, since that last drive, I mean, we're only separated now by 16 yards total difference in offense. I mean, 387 for Tulane, 371 for South Alabama. Actually have more passing yards at 182 to 165 for Tulane. So a big night for that South Alabama offense, also for Tulane, and really it's going to be a matter of whose defense steps up here in the next 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
And that'll be an easy first down for Javen Gordon, as Gordon now picking up the majority of the carries lately. It's been Mobley who's been the guy right now, 84 yards, although Gordon closing in on that. And of course Tulane playing without Maurice Turner, who injured himself in practice earlier this week. Turner was the guy that carried 14 times for 86 yards against Northwestern. So you're looking at running backs 2, 3, and 4 for Tulane, who have done some damage. And they'll continue to milk the clock as well as they move the chains. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Retzloff by himself along the right side. He'll get the first down as he scampers out of bounds. That was a great play fake, as they've been continuing to go to the back time after time after time. And this time Retzloff pulled it himself and smartly avoided the contact, got out of bounds, but clock continues to roll.
And again, he got me. I was with Barnes the whole way until you said Retzloff, and I looked up, and he's running towards the Tulane sideline. I'm watching Barnes run towards the South Alabama sideline. What a great play fake right there. And he just rides it out. And then he's in the secondary before you know it.
So 1st and 10. Play clock down to 5. They'll milk it all the way down. They'll throw it, and nice block. It was knocked out of the air. I believe that was Dalton Hughes. Yeah, it was Dalton, the senior out of Tupelo, Mississippi. He started the season, by the way, as number 11, was number 21 last week, and then moved to number 10 this week, in part because they're working with special teams and making sure you don't have 2 of the same numbers on special teams. But number 1, that was a good play to knock it down. Number 2, that stops the clock.
Yeah, big play right there for South Alabama.
So 2nd and 10. It'll be the ground game. Spin move. Breaks a tackle. Does Javen Gordon. Gets across midfield to the 47-yard line. It'll be about 3rd and 5 here.
Again, South just unable to wrap up on the running back as he gets around the end. Looked like they had a hit on him right there around the 50-yard line, but Gordon does a really nice job of keeping his feet, spinning out of it, and getting himself an extra 3 yards.
3rd and 5. Jags still have 3 timeouts. You got the 2-minute timeout also still ahead. It'll be Retzloff calling his own number. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets 1. Now timeout South Alabama, as that brings up a 4th down at the 45-yard line.
It's their first of
nice job right there. They brought in the jumbo package, and every time we've seen them bring that jumbo package in and put it on the left side, Retzloff's run right off of that. And that's the first time we've seen South be able to come up and get a pretty big stop on that. So it'll be interesting to see if they go back to that same jumbo package to see if they can pick up this 3 yards or
do you punt it away and make South go the distance? This is why they get paid the big bucks, right?
That's right.
We get to stand up here and second guess it. I would punt it away if I were them.
Yeah, I see the snapper in the over there on the far side, especially with a little bit of a wet turf, getting a few extra long snaps in. But
if you're John Sumrall, you've got ultimate faith in this team, and That's what he does.
He just sent that. So
he's going to say,
the long snapper right back to the sideline.
Yep.
Here they come.
He's going to say, win it right here, or at least come close to putting the nail in the coffin. 4th down. Tulane is 1 for 1 on 4th down conversions. They've got a 4th and 3. Got to get it to the 42. 5 wide for Retzloff. And now here comes Duda Barnes into the backfield. So 4 receivers, 1 running back. Pointing out the blocking scheme here. Plenty of time on the play clock. Barnes in motion. Maybe they're trying to draw South Alabama offside here. And they will not snap it. So the Jags tried, or I should say Tulane tried.
Offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It will still be 4th down.
To draw South Alabama offside. Jags held their water nicely, but you've got a punter in Alec Clark, who we saw in pregame was kind of just about a half step and booming it about 60 yards and then checking it up at about the 5-yard line. He did it time and time again.
Yeah,
and
watching him in pregame was one of the most impressive pregame shows I've ever seen. That young man just, like you said, 1 step, just 60-yard boom. I mean, over and over again. And we'll see if he's able to do that in Penn South deep right here. Because he also was hitting them from about 50 and checking them up right around the 3 as well.
He'll punt from his 35-yard line. Flags fly as Voisin will settle under it, make the fair catch at about the 15-yard line. Let's see what the flags are, though.
What if it's illegal formation or
some sort of illegal procedure against Tulane. Now, do you just take the ball at the 15-yard line, or you say kick it again? Let's see what you can do.
Yeah, after you watch this man warm up, I may take it at the 15. I'm not real sure. Let's see what South decides.
Illegal formation, kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be assessed at the dead ball spot after the punt. First down.
I think they had too many men in the backfield. The kind of way they had it bowed out.
So what that'll do is give South Alabama the football 80 yards away from potentially tying this thing up. Jags will have to get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. But they do have 2 timeouts to work with and the 2-minute timeout just 21 seconds away. So this is why you watch. This is why you play the game. We'll see what happens here. 1st and 10, South Alabama. The offense for the Jags has been much better here in the second half. Let's see if they can move the ball again on this Tulane defense. Davenport will give it off to Bullock, and Bullock doesn't have much. Maybe a gain of 1. Let's see if the Jags just let it run down to the 2-minute timeout. It appears that that's exactly what they'll do. So 2nd down and 9 at their own 21-yard line, and that's where we will resume play. Jags with 2 timeouts, 79 yards away from potentially tying it up. Don't go away. We'll see what happens here in Mobile. Kentrell Bullock on the sidelines here on a 2nd down and 9. He's had a night, though. 24 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. 4.5 yards every time he touches the football. Problem is, Jags now 79 yards away, and they're going to have to put the ball in the air here. 2 timeouts to work with. Got to get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to extend this ball game. Bishop Davenport, he's the quarterback. 13 of 18. He's thrown for 182 and a touchdown. 2nd down and 9 here. He's got protection. Throws across the middle, and it is intercepted. Now there is a flag. Actually, 2 flags as Bishop Davenport was leveled. Jack Chinchu is the guy that got the interception, but let's see if this thing stands. I don't think it will.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
It looks like they got Santana Hopper, I should say.
That 15-yard penalty will be from the previous spot, first down.
So that brings it to the 31, I believe. But there were 2 flags immediately as soon as Bishop let it go. And that'll erase the interception. Tulane had 4 interceptions against Northwestern. That was the first time they had gotten one today. Hopper still not happy with the call, but that's where we are.
South
Alabama still alive.
Chosen to have the clock start on the snap.
The ball's going to be pushed all the way out to the 36. They only rushed 4. Boy, they got back there quick, but it must have been a high hit on Davenport because flags were quick to fly as he's trying to hit that slant route.
And Bishop was laid out for sure. So 1st and 10 at the 36. Quick pass across the middle. Complete. Actually 2nd down. Gain of about 9 as Devin Voisin able to pull it in. 144, 143 and counting. 2nd and short. Davenport to throw again. He's got a receiver once again. Another connection. There's Jeremy Scott. First down, South Alabama.
Clock's going to stop here temporarily while they move the chains. Give South a chance to set up and be ready to go as soon as they mark it for play.
Well, they're at the 44-yard line, so 44 yards away. Tulane bringing pressure. That leaves an open receiver. Strike to Miller McCrumbie.
Short gain, but big thing there. McCrumbie able to get out of bounds there for South Alabama.
And so that does stop the clock at 1:20. Gain of about 3. We'll call it 2nd down 7.
Also allows Tulane a second to sub some new guys in as South Alabama also subbed a few in.
Bishop has some pressure. Throws across the middle, and that is caught. Was he inbounds? And they say no. Devin Voisin caught it on his backside.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think his backside was on the white line.
Yeah, Devin's saying, hey, look at the scoreboard. But of course, that's what any good receiver is going to say, right?
Yeah, but I think we're going to see it here. It was a great job. He got behind. Little out and up move we saw earlier. Ball's underthrown. He goes to his backside. Ooh, he may have a chance. Let's see if replay buzzes down. They'll be looking at this being under 2 minutes, and they do get the call from upstairs. They are going to take another look at this.
Previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. The receiver was out of bounds.
What's it, Boyson now? 2 weeks and 2 replays.
Yes, that's true. It was awfully close. I'll be honest with you. In live action, I thought he was out of bounds.
Yeah.
But looking at that replay, that's very close, man. Very close.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of just where he had possession, because he does eventually, his backside does touch the white line. It's a matter of when the ball actually lands in his lap to see if South Alabama is going to get this one all the way down somewhere around the 15-yard line.
Well, Davenport did a great job, too, because he had Big Mo Westmoreland, 250-pound redshirt senior, bearing down at him and still let that one go. As you see Davenport get hit as he throws, and that's awfully close.
That is really close. I mean, that's one of those ones you're almost got to watch frame by frame to see. I think I don't know. Unfortunately, I think his armor is probably left cheek may be out of bounds. Let's get a better look out of it here. Ooh, that makes it even more difficult. I don't know. I'm 0 for 21, and I'm going to abstain from voting on this one. But either way, it is a bang-bang play, and I wouldn't want to be in a replay official right now.
No. We talked to the replay officials prior to this and told them, look, what you just said, we don't want your job.
No, not at all.
But that's going to be awfully close. But look, credit to, again, and I brag on them all the time, but they deserve it. Our camera crew here, all South Alabama students. These are students getting these shots for you. And you're not going to find many professionals that are going to get you better shots than this. So the behind's on the ground. The question is, where did he possess it, and where was his behind at that particular point?
Oh, that's close.
That is very close. It'll be about the 10-yard line if they overturn it. Now remember too, it's either upheld or overturned.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Third down.
So incomplete pass. They say they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it, so it is upheld as an incomplete pass. And I think that's one of those situations too. Really, what was the call on the field? And the call on the field was ultimately the big issue there. If you call it a completed pass, it was going to be upheld. Call it an incomplete pass, it was going to be upheld. So third down for South Alabama at the Tulane 41-yard line, 1:13 to go, so plenty of time. Jags need to move the sticks here. 3 wideouts to the far side. Bishop almost picked off again. Jack Chinchu was just waiting on it and almost, and probably should have, had the interception across the middle.
100% should have. Jack Chinchu just playing center field. You see him right there, and he's watching Davenport's eyes all the way. Jumps the route, and boy, he'll be kicking himself a little bit because he wanted that one bad. But
so it's going to come down to this. Jags have to get to the 34-yard line, 4th down. Davenport, Tulane rushing 4. Across the middle, overthrown, trying to get it to his receiver. Is there a flag? Yes, there is. Isaiah Shine was
Personal
in
foul,
coverage.
roughing the passer.
And there's another one down. So I didn't even see that flag. There is a flag on Bishop Davenport.
2 fouls on the play, both on the defense.
There you go.
Holding, number 11. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer. That 15-yard penalty will be from the previous spot with an automatic first down.
I didn't even see that flag. I saw the one, although I wasn't sure if it was going to be a hold or a pass interference on Shine.
yeah, we saw opposite ones. I saw the one here behind the play as Davenport gets nailed right after he drops it. And I wonder if they call it because it's a high hit. And then that play right there. And either way, South Alabama keeps this drive alive and gets all the way down to about the 26-yard line.
So the Jags still in business. 1st and 10. 1:05 to go. Bishop. Here comes the blitz. He's got a wide open receiver. Touchdown, South Alabama. Devin Boyson got behind the coverage, and the Jags are within 2.
What a great job picking up the blitz. So the blitz comes, the backer steps up. I think it may have been Martin that was in there that does a good job of picking up the blitz. And then Davenport and Boyson do the rest. As Boyson just running a straight post route, and Davenport able to see him. But it all started with the blitz pickup by South Alabama.
So the Jags have to go for 2 here and a tie. Bullock in the backfield. Tulane showing pressure again. Bishop to throw. Flushed out into the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone. Tulane turns him away. Javion White was the guy that stepped in the passing lane. And it's 33-31. Tulane will get the football. But you would assume here that you're going to do the onside kick and see if South Alabama can get it. If they don't, that may be lights out.
Yeah, and for South, they're just trying to run a little curl route right inside the goal line right there, trying to pick up that 2-point conversion. Davenport's got pressure on him. Tries to sling that out to his receiver, but nice job by Tulane stepping right in front of him, picking that one off.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Tulane fans think they felt pretty comfortable for a long time. Give credit to South Alabama for clawing all the way back, making it a 2-point game, and it's not done yet. You always work on these onside kick opportunities in special teams practice, and we'll see what Hamilton DeBoyan can do and try to keep South Alabama's hopes alive. So DeBoyan from the right hash.
South Alabama, number 22, has changed numbers to number 20. Timeout, Tulane. It's their first of the half. This will be 30 seconds in lead.
So number 22 for South Alabama is the linebacker Caleb Dozier, who is a fast guy with good hands, linebacker. So they want him on the hands team, but you can't have the double numbers. So he will be in number 20 right now as John Summerall calls the timeout. There's Caleb Dozier, not in number 20.
Linebacker that's going to go in there and kind of clean house a little bit for you and give you a chance to try to pick this ball up if it starts swirling around. And it's unique. I mean, back in the day, you know, they used to stick those things straight up on the tee and then hit them straight down into the ground. And kind of a unique style right here as we just lay it sideways on the tee and see if you can get that thing spinning.
DeBoyan. It goes right to Tulane's Jack Chinchu. Pretty easy fielding job by Chinchu. And now Tulane will have the football with 59 seconds to play. South Alabama with 2 timeouts. But don't know if that's going to be enough.
Please reset the game clock to 58 seconds. 0-5-8. Thank you.
So a valiant comeback by South Alabama. Looks like it's going to fall about 2 points shy as Chinchu doing some push-ups on the far sideline. There's a look at Major Applewhite talking with the official on his sideline. Jags can stop it twice as Zuberi Mobley is the running back. No need for Tulane to put it in the air here. Just a matter of, does it go to Mobley or does Retzloff take it himself? It'll be Retzloff, left side, and he'll just give himself up at about the 47-yard line. Loss of 3.
Timeout, South Alabama. Their second timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
But at this point, the yardage really doesn't matter if you're Tulane. Just trying to make sure you have ball security. Hang on to it. South can call one more timeout.
Boy, and you talking about just a game of, I mean, craziness, right?
Game of runs, yeah.
14-0, and then all of a sudden a 24-0 run, and then South. I mean, the discrepancy in the stats in the second quarter from between South and what Tulane was able to do, and then all of a sudden, man, South's defense just really stepped up and started playing so well there in the third quarter, and then got a little momentum. The running game picked up. I mean, Bullock over 100 yards just by himself. I mean, and then really impressed with Davenport and a couple of throws downfield, and then, boy, Tulane able to step up at the right moment on that 2-point conversion that they really needed.
Well, and this is a Tulane team that many, I think deservedly so, are talking about potentially being the group of 5 representative when it's all said and done. They've got the tools, they've got the depth. That's a big credit to South Alabama as well to be able to hang with these guys. As Mobley off the right side, hit at the line of scrimmage. Timeout, South Alabama. And in part, you look at Tulane as a potential G5 representative because of the schedule that they have. They already got a Big Ten win over Northwestern. And then they will go back home to Duke, where their former quarterback Darian Mensah will come back to Ullman Stadium. That's next week. Then they go to Ole Miss before opening up American Conference play at Tulsa, and then home against East Carolina and Army. But the components are there for Tulane, should they navigate that schedule, to get all the national attention they deserve. Meantime, South Alabama, boy, the road doesn't get easier for them, does it? It's not a far road to go, but it'll be the first time the Jags play at Auburn. The Auburn Tigers hosting South Alabama next week, 11:45 start there. And then South Alabama back home to start Sun Belt Conference play, Coastal Carolina. They'll finish out the non-conference schedule at North Texas. And then Troy comes to town, battle for the belt. Or actually, South will go to Troy for the battle of the belt.
Boy, Troy giving Clemson everything they wanted
sure
today.
Did. 3rd down and 10. Retzloff under pressure. He's sacked. That's Tyrell Johnson wearing the honorary number 5 jersey. Makes the sack, but there's only about a 6-second differential between the play clock and the game clock. So Tulane, quite sure, will let it go all the way down. By the way, we talk about that honorary jersey. Anthony Mostella was the captain for the first South Alabama football team in 2009. And after that season, tragically lost his life. He was number 5. South Alabama used to give that number to someone for a season, and then decided after about a couple of years ago that they'll give that number 5 to somebody different, somebody that earns it each week. It was Devin Voisin last week.
Tulane.
And Tyrell Johnson
30 seconds
wearing the number 5 today.
Please set the game clock to 6 seconds. 0-6.
That was just a great open field tackle right there by Johnson. That's one of those ones you come in on that, kind of run that little naked bootleg, just hoping everybody crashes down. And Johnson does a great job of coming up and in control, and then making that tackle all the way back around the 41-yard line. But only 6 seconds right here. You got to be thinking you're sending. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does with the punt. I mean, if you're not, you got to be sending the house.
Well, Voisin will go back at about the 15-yard line, but there's not going to be a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of things here. And you've got one of the better punters in America in Alec Clark. He bombed a 70-yarder last week against Northwestern. Standing back at his own 26-yard line. He'll get rid of it quickly. And it's going to come down to this. Can Devin Voisin return it for a touchdown? He goes left side. He's got a bit of a wall and now gets out of bounds, and that'll do it. So Voisin's return.
The ruling on the field is the runner was out of bounds with the ball.
And so that'll do it. So the teams converge and Tulane escapes. John Sumrall, the Tulane Green Wave. They go to 2-0 on the year. The Jags drop to 1-1, but a heck of a ball game. South Alabama jumped out on top 14-0. Tulane went on a huge run. And South Alabama responded with a run of their own, and a 2-point conversion toward the end of the ball game was unsuccessful, and that will give Tulane a hard-earned victory in Mobile. But both teams will see this game film and have some good things to say, but also some things that, gosh, you'd have done this, maybe things would have been a little different.
Yeah, I'm not one of those ones that like, oh, what a moral victory. You know, we really played it close, but boy, for South, you were just right there. You're a 2-point conversion away from sending this game to overtime. And for Tulane, I mean, as you look at the stats here, I mean, Tulane said they wanted to outrush you, and they did, 256 to 190. But dead even on total yards. I mean, that's
nuts.
Very impressive. And 2 early turnovers, but then both teams really kind of cleaned things up and took care of the ball. But for Tulane to go down 14 the way they did and kind of just get right back into it with 24 unanswered, I was really impressed with that team and how they just held their composure.
And Tulane got some short fields, took advantage of it. But it was an entertaining one, partner. As Bishop Davenport, Devin Voisin, they showed out for the Jags. Retzloff showed out for Tulane. Back and forth affair, and it goes Tulane's way. We're glad you're with us on this entertaining Saturday night. So for Brian Gennard, I'm Pat Greenwood saying so long from Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile. Your final score, Tulane 33, South Alabama 31. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.